So, episode 28, Badass Records, Kenton Campbell.
I'm here.
How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Do you like having KC as your initials?
As I got older, I did enjoy it.
You weren't a fan as a kid?
I didn't, because I went by Michael. So my middle name is Michael.
Okay.
So up until like third grade, that's when my teacher started calling me Kenton. So I was like, I couldn't find my desk because I was looking for Michael.
How'd you land it going by Michael initially?
My dad, they called him Mike.
Okay.
And his name is Kenneth Michael.
Okay.
And I'm Kenton Michael.
Yeah.
So I was always Little Mike. So I was always going by Michael, or that's Little Michael, because my dad never went by Kenneth. Okay. He was always King, Kenny, or something like that, and I hate those nicknames. So you know what I mean.
I mean, like, I have a cousin who's he's KC by first and middle. His last name is Beck, but Kyle Christopher, when he's I don't know, what is he? He just turned 30 something. But when he was born and they named him that and they were calling him KC, I was like, that's pretty cool. To be KC and live in KC.
And live in KC.
So, but do you have people that call you that, or?
Oh yeah, my friends, they call me KC or
variations.
K-Dot. Yes.
K to the sizzle.
So. K-Dot Cam.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cam. It's so funny because you hear these rappers and I'm like, man, I'm in high school, my friends was calling me that. And now Kendrick Lamar is this big rapper and he's like, no, I'm K-Dot. And I'm like,
Are you?
Well, in 2001 when I was going to Wyandotte High School.
Right. You went to Wyandotte High?
Yeah.
Dang.
I used to, it's so crazy because Marvel's big now. Like, I was a huge Fantastic Four guy.
Okay.
So in high school, I used to get Mr. Fantastic stitched on my hats.
Really?
At the hat store.
Nice.
So super silly. But yeah, I went to Wyandotte when I moved back from Colorado. So yeah.
Okay. Man, I did social work over there for 3 years.
Oh yeah.
And it was like you're either in the classroom or in the home or out in the community with the kid.
Right.
And every high school has got like a very, to me, clear kind of vibe or flavor to it.
It is. They're all different.
And Wyandotte, I was like, there's some, like,
you gotta
I think
tough.
The kids are maybe running the school here.
Yeah, you got to be tough.
I mean, not literally, but I felt like I'm not tough enough to go to the school.
You got to be ready to you got to be ready to scrap. It could go down any day, but it was pretty good for the most part. But like a lot of schools, like we had fights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had people showing up after school, but like it's just a part of it. It's so funny now that I look. We didn't have as many like school shootings as they do now. Like kids like actually fought. Like you went to the bathroom and you knuckled up, or like in the lunchroom you're fighting. It's not some guy running in shooting up the whole school. It's like, nah, you scrap.
It's weird. Like I was super little until like I grew 6 inches senior year. I mean, anyway, by junior year I was lifting. Had been lifting pretty regularly. And was starting to grow a little bit, and I just like to my core, I felt like I'm ready I'm not looking for it, but if it comes up, that's 16, 17 at 40, almost 48. I'm like, please keep me away from.
Hey, you got to switch though. It might snap off. Like it takes a little for you to get there. You're like, I really want to avoid.
But in just moving through my day, I'm like confrontation.
I'm trying to avoid it. It's just like traffic. It's like, man, is there construction? Let me go around the block.
So you guys did a France trip. Was it 2.5 weeks?
It was like 11 days.
Okay.
So that was long. That was a lot. It was tough because it's like 24 hours of travel. Like you don't understand what it takes. Like it's an 8-hour flight, but if you get to the airport at a certain time, your flight may not take off for a certain amount of time, and the time zone changed. So when we got there, it was like the morning time, and you can't check into your hotel till 3. So it was just like we're zombies, you know what I mean? So, but it was beautiful.
And you're not in a house where people can go have some space. You're all together in a bubble. In
a small, like the streets are small, like the cars are small. It's just like everything. You think of the U.S. and everything is supersized over here.
Right.
You go to Europe and you're like, man.
Including the people.
Like, including the people. Right. You're right. Say you go to France or somewhere, you're like, man, it's really small.
So there, I've never been. I've been to Ireland. I've been to Mexico. and Costa Rica twice actually.
Okay.
But that's it. But forever, like you know, and maybe it even changed from childhood into an adult in current like now, but it always seems like there's been this like snootiness with a pin that's put in France. It's just a snooty. So is that bullshit?
I think that is bullshit.
Okay.
What I do think is though they do look at you crazy because sometimes I would say our kids act spoiled, and you don't understand how spoiled your kids act until you go to somewhere where kids act like
Yikes.
many adults sometimes. Like,
Okay.
yeah, their kids aren't rolling around on the floor, you know what I'm saying, ordering 10 sodas and like telling them the steak isn't good. Like, you know what I mean? It's just there's a difference in culture, and there's a different expectation. And once I was there, I understood it. I was like, oh, okay, you act like you have some sense. You know
So
what I mean?
did you kind of along the same lines? Did you feel there's also a thing for a while now in my recollection with France where you know, maybe Europeans as a whole like don't like Americans, but France is maybe an uptick to that.
Most people you go to restaurants, they speak English. They treat you some sort of way. Like I say, it's more or less a how you're acting type of thing.
Okay.
It's more or less the type of attitude that you're bringing to the table. Like, oh, I'm too good for this, or I'm too good. Like, they will look at you a little weird, like, you know. But what I found out about the French, they smoke a lot of cigarettes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the movies tell us that, right?
And I thought it was a joke until I got there, and I was like, oh,
these people are chiefing.
They chain smoke cigarettes.
Okay.
And they love their pastries.
Inside?
No, it's outside.
Okay.
They're all outside. Okay. They're all outside. There's not a lot of inside smoking.
I saw a TikTok just the other day where some gal in my FYP, she was like, so I was in France and I wanted to try as many pastries as I could. So I went in and I was like, can I get a croissant? And she's like, it's pronounced croissant. And then she goes, oh, well, in that case, you're being a cun. TikTok.
Yeah.
You fuck around with TikTok?
My daughter loves TikTok. I try to avoid it, but it's like the new wave. It's like
time suck.
And everybody's on it. They're like, no one's on Snapchat or Instagram anymore. Like, you got to get your data from your TikTok. But I'm a Twitter guy, so like, I like Twitter as my platform of choice.
Are you you're K.Cam somewhere?
I'm K.Cam.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
I feel like I couldn't. I mean, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, they all are so specific, like needs or yes, identities.
They all
or
serve a purpose, some sort of purpose.
And so, like, I mean, to each their own. But like when I see people that they use whatever they use to post something on one of them and it goes to all of them, I'm like, you want people like
you see all that? Like, no, I'm siloed. Like, you know, I'm definitely what is my account's private on Twitter? Well, I guess I have more real thoughts on Twitter.
Right, but I mean, like, if if I follow you in more than one place, I don't want to see your shit 3-4 times.
I hate it.
So none of my shit is tied, and I do certain things on Instagram and certain things on Twitter, and I don't know what to do with Facebook anymore.
My wife said I added something, go accept it. I say okay. Go accept the tag. All right, baby, I'm on that.
So born and raised KC?
For the most part, yep. Born and raised in KCK.
Okay.
After 5th grade, moved to Denver. And then
what year is 5th grade?
5th grade. Let's see, what is it? 10. So like 93, 94.
Okay.
Like yep. Because it was a big year because Waco, Texas. I remember Waco was happening when we moved. Waco and Waco.
Right.
Yeah. And then I stayed there until the start of my junior year. I moved back that summer, and then that's when I started going Wyandotte.
Okay.
So that was like the year, 99, 2000, and then 2000, 2001.
It's crazy. You're like talking about 93 being 5th grade for you. I'm like, I'm starting college.
Oh, man, yeah.
So are your folks, are they still around and together?
They're not together. They divorced actually when I was 10. You know, we moved.
Okay.
So like my mom, she's from Colorado, so her roots were in Denver. So like we moved back there. My dad's roots were here. So
how'd they meet?
Oh, they met here. I don't even know.
Okay.
They just met in KCK.
Okay. Are they both still
They're actually both back in the area now. So
Okay.
like, my dad still lives in KCK. My mom lives over on the KCMO side, not too far from where I live.
Okay. Is everybody generally speaking cool with everybody?
I go over to my dad's house. My mom's over there all the time.
Okay.
Super weird though. Like, you know, your parents go through this divorce,
Yeah.
but then you're like, y'all friends and y'all kick it and y'all like hang out.
What else are you guys doing?
But they're not doing any of that.
Right,
It's
right,
so weird. But
right.
like they are kicking like they're BFFs, and I'm like, man, why wasn't this?
And what's your sibling situation?
Oh well, my mom had 2 kids before she met my dad.
Okay.
So they had 3 together. So my mom has 5.
Okay.
And my dad has 3 kids before he met my mom.
Okay.
Then he had 3 kids with my mom.
All
so
right.
he has 6.
So, and on that front too, like everybody's pretty
I
chill.
talk to everybody,
Nice.
so I can speak to
Sure,
everybody.
sure.
Now I'm not necessarily sure if everyone speaks to everybody,
Right.
but I can talk to everybody.
Okay.
So.
So in either KCK or Denver, were they playing music when you were little?
Oh yeah.
What were they into?
Oh, like my mom's into a lot of like R&B.
Okay.
Like 80s. Like we'll listen to some Prince, like
Nice.
some Michael Jackson. And then in the 90s, she listened to a lot of Salt and Pepper, a lot of Deborah Cox, Kelly Price.
Okay.
Different artists like that, Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
That's how I discovered that Miseducation album. My mom,
Nice.
she was listening to it. I was like, oh, this is like really good. She's
Dude.
spitting and she's singing. Like, it's kind of crazy. So
I mean, we'll get to it, but find me a section of that album that you want to skip. I mean,
it's very difficult to do that.
Let it, because
just let it ride. I want the intros.
You're gonna miss out on a very specific kind of emotional, like, so much woe. You know,
Right.
like, oh man, she's
Just so much to come out of that artist.
Yeah.
In that one album. You
and
know?
even like, I mean, I make myself look bad here, but the Fugees record, with it's like black and you got like shots of their faces. Fuck. I mean, it's the big one they put out.
That's not the Fuji lie. It's not ready or not. No, I look.
It's like it's like the font is like the Godfather movie,
Now you got me looking.
right?
Yeah.
So again, make myself look bad, but I never reached a point where I loved all of that album.
The score.
The score.
I was in 7th grade.
And but because I always want to gravitate towards the tracks where she's primarily what you're hearing.
It's I was thinking about this the other day. When you think of someone like that carries a group, or
Yeah.
you're like, there was a group, but there was a person in that group that was so much better than the rest of the group members.
And no disrespect to Wyclef,
Because he's a great artist.
Yes.
And a great producer.
but that outfit as a sound,
Yes.
it's like medicine.
Yeah.
You know, such a beauty. Anyway, so what was Dad listening to?
You know what's really weird? My dad loved a lot of like old school country music.
Okay.
So like, know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, all that like old school.
Eddie Rapp, who is that?
Listen, man, I don't know, but my dad would have all the country music playing in the
Okay,
car.
okay.
And I'll just be listening to it. And then he'll go to some 103, but if he's in the car chilling, he just likes his country stories. He's just I don't know, he just likes that music. So,
what do you remember, or do you remember something like because he's got stuff he likes, she's got stuff, but one of the first things where you were like, that's my shit, and I want to have a copy of that or listen to that all the time. A first love, if you will.
The first tape, because it was a tape that I purchased.
Okay.
It's funny. It was Boys to Men.
Hey, ABC, BBD.
No, it was the 2 album.
Okay.
So it was the one that went like quadruple platinum or whatever, and they had all those singles on that album. That was like my first album that I remember just playing on repeat and flipping it over. And I'm like, man, I just like this R&B sound and just something about how these guys harmonize that I really enjoyed. So
was their first one Cooley High Harmony?
Yeah, it was that weird. Yeah.
And then Boys to Men 2,
it was the
Roman
2 album.
numeral.
Yes.
I don't know if I know that one, but.
No, you do, because it was on Bended Knee, When the Well Runs Dry.
Okay.
I'll Make Love to You.
Sure.
Like, it had all those songs. The one with Mariah Carey. Like, they had all those.
Yeah.
tracks.
And so, any others that stick out like that one?
My brothers, because I had a lot of influence. I had some older
Yeah.
brothers, so they were always listening to like Tupac.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? RBL and the Posse, like Outkast, like Southern Playalistic, like all the old Players Ball type of music. Ghetto Boys,
Man.
you know. So like I was getting influenced by like my older brothers too, because they were into like the Big Daddy Kanes and like all these other artists and stuff. And like, you know, it was they were a little too old for me, but I was young listening to like, man, these guys are spitting, or like I see what my brothers are into. I want to be like those guys.
We were talking a minute ago about Tom Segura. He's got a pretty famous bit about Big Daddy Kane. So the bit starts off with I'm not gonna do it just perfect, but no greater feeling in the world, and I encourage you to try it, than to sometimes shout in your best, most aggressive black guy voice. And he's like, and if you do it like well enough, every once in a while, you'll get somebody to holler back at you, like just into the night, into this, you know. And so he says something like, "Hey, Young!" A couple seconds go by. "What's up, D?" Like, so he's talking about how good it feels to do it if you can do it right. And he's like, I did it to Big Daddy Kane once, and he was pulling up to the airport, and just whatever the car they were in pulled up behind his, or a club somewhere behind his entourage, and saw the limo or whatever, and then Big Daddy Kane, and he is a huge fan. He's had him on the podcast actually. Get out, and he was like, "Shut the fuck up." He's like, "I don't know, something took over," and I just went, "Sup, Kane?" And he whipped around, and he was like, "Wasn't me." But anyway, so he says, if you ever see Big Daddy Kane, please do the same. But I just saw an Instagram reel from him right before you got here. The caption says, "The rarely seen 5-legged elephant." And there's just this elephant walking by, and its business is like touching the ground, basically. And he's like, if I had that, I would take my time too, and I would wear gray sweatpants for the rest of my life and make sure no females ever look me in the eye. So you do you. It's just funny. But
goodness. They say, I think they had. I saw some picture with Big Daddy Kane, Madonna, and somebody else. Oh no, it was one of them supermodels. And they were like, they like got it on. I was like, nah, Big Daddy Kane was the real. He was the real deal.
Yeah,
man.
The sex book, Madonna's sex comes up in the Your Mom's House episode with Big Daddy Kane, and they're like, "What's up? Did you and Madonna?" And he was like, "You know who I am? Like you would know, or something like you would know, and she would be telling you." You wouldn't have to hear it from me.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, damn, okay.
That's hilarious, like letting you know. Like,
but, okay, so you got a little flair for the R&B, and then, of course, like tons of rap and hip-hop, too, from brothers.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I liked a little bit of alternative, too. So, like, I was, when I lived in Colorado, so I was exposed to some... You know what I'm saying? Moving to the country made me a lot of peaches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alanis Morissette had a really good album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just really hot. Like, when I was in 7th grade, it was just like, well, what the business was. So you went, and I don't know if this is, I suppose the reason I want to do this is because I want to find out, like, if this is a dangerous avenue with anyone that will talk to me about rap. But one of the first names you said was, when it came to your brothers, was Tupac. Correct.
But you did not say Biggie.
And it was a big East Coast, West Coast type of thing. And I think at the time, my brothers, they bought into like, we're West Coast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We lived in Colorado. You're on Mountain Time. We're West Coast guys. Like Biggie's albums was good. Ready to Die was great. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Says you.
So Life After Death was really good.
I mean,
you know, I like those albums that Biggie had. But
sure.
I just felt like Biggie didn't get enough time to really give us everything.
I just have more than once run into, I think maybe it's a natural magnetic draw to pit the two as rappers against each other.
Right.
And forget the East Coast, forget all that, the drama and whatever, just rapping. Like, give me Tupac all day, every day. You can keep Biggie.
I don't know.
Yo.
See, that's a difficult discussion because Biggie is a very prolific. he's a very, I'm telling you this story now, you can visualize what I'm telling you. Like the first stories I seen, I think I was listening to like a Biggie album. I'm like, man, I can see the red dot on this guy's head. Like, you know, Tupac more of a poetic guy. Like,
and that's
tugs in my heartstrings, my emotions.
That's
I
more.
lived, I lived in the poverty. I understood the single moms, the trying to grow up, and when Tupac was on that, then I understood like, oh, the system's against me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a successful black male, but I'm being attacked. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm being, you know what I'm saying, blown up to be an scapegoat, or I'm trying to be an example made out of me. So like, yes, I definitely felt the whole Tupac.
Zero beef saying that you're basically equal fans of both.
Oh yeah, no,
okay.
I don't.
Okay.
Like, I don't dig into the politics.
No, but I'm saying strip all that away. Just like flow, the poetic piece, like it just. And I don't have any interest in like belittling Biggie. He just wasn't ever for me.
Right, for you, yeah, for you. But I feel like if there wasn't no Biggie, I don't know if there would be a Jay-Z. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, because they picked each other's brain a lot. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that he took from there, and he still catapulted off of, and he made. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Biggie would be just as big as Jay if he was still alive.
Okay. Okay. So Wyandotte High, and then did you go to KU?
No, just a big fan. I went to community college.
Okay.
But I was always in Lawrence, kicking it.
Were you really?
I was always going down.
One of the best places in the world to kick it.
And I'm from KCK, so it was a 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
It wasn't too far at all. So.
How did you and Amanda meet?
We just met out, going out.
Okay.
Nightlife. You know, Parent Light was a big deal. Blind was a big deal.
She was like, whenever there was a
new spot, she was always the head waitress.
Right?
She was all like, they were bringing her over.
Yeah.
She was really good.
Yeah.
You know, she did.
And I think she did pretty well doing that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So just, all right. And then you guys have an adopted and a bio.
Yep.
And so just sheer ignorance. He seems just in social media pictures like a super gleeful,
outgoing,
happy, joyful boy.
Very.
What kind of awareness does he have about his roots?
Oh, he knows everything.
And
my wife, she's done a great job from day one of like keeping track and everything of the whole adoption process, from where he was being adopted from. She's even went back. We found his birth mom. We've met her in person.
No,
He's met other siblings a few years ago.
No shit.
Yeah, a few years ago we went back because we've been back to Haiti a few times. And my wife, she did it. We found his mom. We met his sisters. We met like some of his like nieces and nephews because his sisters had kids. So like
that place. I mean, like okay. I don't have much, but here's what I remember. She wanted to do it, and it was taking a super long time, and then
it was a process,
and then the earthquake,
and she was over visiting
happened,
him, and she was in the earthquake,
and then they were like, okay, just go and take him, or
well, all the kids that if you had their paperwork, they were going to get early parole if you can show identification, and they were trying to move the kids that were close to being adopted out to those homes.
Okay.
Because a lot of the paperwork was lost in the earthquake in the downtowns and all the buildings and the rubble. So if you can show it and you got your governor to sign off on it, you can go flying and pick your kid up.
Has the place recovered?
I don't ever think it's going to ever fully recover. I don't think they really got all the funds that was raised for them to use that.
Funds were raised and they went elsewhere?
Billions. Yeah, billions. Like $5 billion or more was raised.
And we don't know where it went?
Yeah, shit. So you go over there, and then there's like supplies, and it's just weird. It should have been rebuilt 10 times over. You know what I mean? But they overthrew their colonizers at one point, so they were alienated from like the global trade anyway. Because the French tried to colonize them, and they threw them out, killed them, and
So like essentially, is he like totally at peace with the way that his journey has?
Because I think when you're honest and you know everything, there's nothing to there's no back doors. Like my wife,
Right.
then every step of the way, I'm like, hey, like we just got to be completely honest. Like let's just be honest with him so he understands.
Have you met birth mom?
Yeah, we all met. We got
Okay.
pictures.
Okay.
Got pictures and everything.
Is she cool? I
She
mean,
was super
yeah.
cool.
Nice.
Met her new husband, their family. Like we like met them. We got a hotel. We were able to track them down. They were actually came to see us.
Oh, they
It wasn't
did?
as simple as I'm making it seem, because one day we lost a full day trying to do it, but then we did communicate, and then the next days that we were able to see them, it just made it that much better.
Okay.
While we were in Haiti.
So, and would you say the same is true with them? Like they don't feel like they feel.
No, I think they feel like they have to do what they have to do, like because of the circumstances.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's a lot of poverty. So, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And you don't know what you don't know, and you're trying to give that kid the best life that you can.
Right.
And if it's to hand it over to an orphanage or something like that, like that's what you got to do. You know, that's what they're trying to do in America right now, anyway. So you can't have any abortions and do anything now.
Oh God.
So
yeah. And then was there some fostering happening too?
Oh yeah, we did a lot of fostering for like 7 years or so.
7?
Yeah, I think we've had a kid in our house consistently for 7 years, up until the last couple months.
Jocelyn's 10?
Jocelyn's 10.
So,
for sure.
like, she was 3 when you started?
Well, yeah. Well,
Wow.
I think we had our licensing before that, but like when we started having consistent kids, she was about 3 or so.
Would you ever have more than one at a time?
We've had 2
Okay.
at a time. 3, I think, was the max, and we had an emergency placement, and we had
Okay.
a placement. So
Now,
yeah,
was that
we've just done it? Yeah.
arriving at that being a thing that's part of your life? Was that a thing that she introduced and you agreed, or like together?
I think it was
or?
one of those things. Our pregnancy with Jocelyn, when we had the birth, we had a home birth, and it kind of scared us.
We had the same
right
doula.
Yeah, we had the
right?
same doula.
Nada.
So, yeah, Nada, I love her. She's
Shouts
like
out
the
to
best.
Nada.
Yeah, she's like the dopest.
She moved away and then came back, I think. Yeah.
And she's like a part of like this doula group. And
Yeah.
I saw it on Facebook. Like I rarely be on there.
Yeah.
But,
right.
So, and it was kind of difficult when Jocelyn came out. You know, she kicked one of Amanda's organs, and it didn't like go back in properly.
Really?
So it kind of scared us. So I got fixed right away.
Okay.
So then I was like, if we want to expand our family, we can foster or we can adopt. Like, you know, we can do it another way. Like, we don't have to go through this.
Did she, like, was there a period where, like, maybe a really long period where she was told or led to believe that
she couldn't have kids?
Okay.
So, and knowing all that, and then knowing, like, it was just by way of how Jocelyn sat in her. When she came out, she kicked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She kicked one of the, it couldn't contract. So it couldn't contract back into where it was supposed to, and she was bleeding out a lot.
Oh, damn.
So once that happened, and me thinking about that, all right, my wife may not be able to have kids at one point in her life because of her pituitary tumor, it just made me want to just be like, look, we can expand our family. There's plenty of kids out here that need love.
Cool.
And if we're feeling that itch, we got a boy, we got a girl. They're both healthy.
Did you
we could foster
in the 7 years up until was there ever any friction in the house because somebody was not doing what they're supposed to do, or was it all smooth sailing?
I don't think you got kids, you got a family,
like
right? Nothing's ever smooth sailing. Somebody's always in a mood or an attitude, and you just try to temper as many moods as you can.
Sure.
I just know that I think up until recently we just kind of felt like the kids just needed a break. Like,
your kids.
My kids needed a break.
So
they could have their own space. Like, you know what I'm saying, live in their own home. Like,
right.
Have us focus on them.
Cool.
Instead of trying to navigate someone else's problems within ours and help those kids out too. And not necessarily put yours on the back burner, but like, hey, you have your support system.
Right.
We're trying to help this kid that doesn't have anything.
Is there, I think I know the answer to this question. Is there a lot of red tape to get to a spot where you're like approved to be? I mean, people come into your home and check stuff out and look into your background. I mean,
correct.
A whole bunch of stuff, right?
They do FBI checks. They do all the background checks. They come in to make sure that your home is suitable for you to be able to take extra kids, or how you're living.
Did you have to make any changes to your home after they once came?
Well, since our new house, we got a swimming pool. They told us that, like, hey, you got to cover the pool every day if you want to have a pool. And we were like, oh, okay. So when you come visit, we'll cover it. And when you're not coming
Is it a thing that you have to do manually?
Well, it's hard to put the cover on. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why you.
Because some people just got that like,
right? Nah,
you know.
That's why it's done once a year. It's not an easy thing. That's why it's done once a year. So.
Okay. Wow. So you're taking that's great, man. I that's what by friction, you know, I was like your kids feeling like
they never felt resentful. Like they never felt resentful or the other. They knew what we were doing.
Sure.
They knew what it was, and they were friends with the kids.
That's
like
cool.
They felt lost when the kids left to go back home because all our kids that left our home went back to a relative. They went back to a home. So it's just they understood it. It just sometimes you just know they need a break.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just need you to pour into them.
I mean,
all that extra.
I don't mean this to be weird, but I think it's going to sound weird no matter what. When you hear that is a thing that somebody that you know is doing, it really just kind of makes you step outside yourself and be like, you know, you're kind of a piece of shit. Like, look at what that's in. I mean,
but don't look at it like that.
Well,
everyone do what they can do.
It's a legit, like, huge need that the world has, right? And if you do a little bit, that means a lot, right?
I think it's more of a need than what people realize. Once they get into it and you see the numbers, and then you see the numbers in like the rural areas. And then you're like, man, those numbers is almost as twice as the cities.
Well,
and you're like, well, how? And
I think a good place to start is like, can you picture 7 billion people or whatever the world population is in your mind? Can you picture how many people that is? And you know that looking at that entire group of people, not everybody's got it amazing.
Correct.
By a long shot. And there's a whole spectrum. And there's going to be some people that, you know,
that are at the bottom.
Yeah, and dealing with
a lot of issues, real world issues.
Just
you drive past, you see Army vets are like, I don't got the proper mental health. I was able to fight for our country, but I don't have the right services, and you know, then it's a blame game. Then at that point, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's a weird roundabout way of saying major kudos to you guys. Like, that's and that's not just for a minute. It's not just one kid. That's a really big contribute. You know, talk about the world needing. You know, it's like a bank, right? There's deposits and withdrawals, right. And the world needs deposits because everybody's withdrawing all the time.
Taking.
So what? I can't remember what your gig is. You like?
I'll do some software
stuff. Okay.
ECM, do some software consulting.
And have you been doing that since the old place?
Yep.
Okay.
I've been doing it for at least the last about 10 years.
You ever miss that old place?
I do.
The one in Westport, it kind of had a cool front porch to it.
Oh, we still got that house.
Oh, you do?
We rent it out.
Okay.
But I have been working at Sprint and Perceptive and now Highland since then.
Okay.
But yeah, we still have that place. We rent it out.
Okay. I always thought that place was cool.
West
I was only
Plaza.
there a couple times. But,
oh, yeah.
And the new place is like Hyde Park-ish.
Hill. No, it's Beacon Hill, 26 and Tracy. It's Beacon Hill.
East. Mm-hmm. Tracy is east.
Right, yeah. So we're like a block off Paseo.
Okay.
The Paseo. So we're super close to 18th and Vine.
Oh, wow, right.
So Isaac's at Lincoln College Prep, Jocelyn's at Academy Lafayette. Both.
Oh, you come all the way over here for?
She's at the Cherry campus.
Oh, I didn't know there was another one.
All right.
Okay.
So there's 3 campuses.
Oh, really?
So on Armour, there's Armour Road, there's the middle school.
Okay.
And then there's the other campus. They have a high school. I forgot where it's
fucking
located.
Bunch of French-speaking motherfuckers everywhere.
Yes, they are.
Wow.
It was great going to France with my French-speaking ass kids. Yes.
Honey, tell the man.
Isaac, tell him I don't want to spend it.
But
Isaac, he's only not been in Academy Lafayette for 1 year. So
so he's still
speaks, yes.
Okay.
And in Haiti, they speak Creole and French.
Right.
So that was the main push to make sure that he kept the language.
So you've been at the new place for a couple of years now, right?
Right. We've been there since December.
Okay.
19.
Okay. And cool neighborhood. I don't know the neighborhood that well.
It's cool neighborhood. It's definitely gentrified. They're gentrifying the neighborhood. They're like building up, raising prices, and but it's a beautiful area now. Like it's so close to downtown.
Okay. So I'm glad you used that word. Does gentrification, do you think that it, like, more often than not has intent, or is it just the way shit happens?
It's 100% intent.
Okay, so
even though people say it's the way shit happens, it's 100% intentful because you're rebuilding it and you're pricing a certain section of people out. So you're like, if
but are you trying to do that? Are you more interested in making money?
They're more interested in making money, yes.
And the pricing people out is a side effect, right? Or is it like I would rather price these people out, forget about my money, or do the things meet? You know what I'm saying?
They're trying to make money and push people out at the same time. And if you're raising the prices, you're doing both at the same time without saying you're doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, because you're saying affordable housing, but is $2,000 a month for an apartment affordable?
$2,000 a month for a mortgage is not affordable. I mean, like
So I don't know who's moving in these places, but I'm like, man, $1,700 for a studio or something.
Nuh-uh.
It's like some crazy prices. Look them up. Go look at and they're throwing them up so fast. Now, then the houses, the interest rates are so high right now, so they're 5-6%. So like, you know what I mean? Some of the properties are tax abated, but they're allowing these builders to come in and they're doing tax-free builds. And
so you like the neighborhood, but you definitely
I wish it was more affordable. I wish we can rebuild and still make things affordable for the people and not price them out of their neighborhoods.
Right.
Because there was a reason it was white flight. People didn't want to be in the city. They wanted to be in the suburbs. Like
back in the day. Grandparents,
right? That's why through 70. That's why 71 is through neighborhoods. There's a highway they built through neighborhoods, and if you go do research, it was for a reason. People wanted to drive. They didn't want to drive through the city. They wanted to drive like through the city. Like I don't want to stop there. 3 stoplights, and I want to keep going to my suburb. To
Interesting.
Overland Park, Lee Summit, Raymore. I want to go up north. I just want to not be in the city, but now everybody wants to be back in the city. So now they're like, let me go buy it up for cheap and let me sell it for high. So that's the game now. It's like buy it for cheap. It's like, well, buy your own block back, rebuild it, and have more like-minded people move there. But a lot of people, when you grow up in the city, you feel like you made it if you make it to the suburbs for some reason. But then you were mad about our schools and everything, but then we got all these charter schools popping up, and then we got the private schools, and then we're just diluting what we have for our public schools and the taxes in those cities, and it's like our problem, like that we had. It's gonna take the people to fix it, opposed to like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, some sort of bill or something.
I think the people have to want to fix it first.
You got to understand what the problem is first, and then have intent. And then fix it. But it takes everybody. Because when I went to school, you went to school with rich kids, you went to school with poor kids, you went to school with middle class kids. It was like there was a mixture. Yeah. And like really now, it's like if you got the money, you're going to private. And if you're upper middle class, you're going private, or you're going to something you can pay for because you feel like it's going to give you a better education than the public. You know, it's just a lot different now.
Yeah. So when when you gave me your list, I was like, okay. I mean, I know the Eminem record and I know the Lauryn Hill record, but I had never like intentionally and consciously sat down and listened to Lil Wayne or DMX.
It's crazy.
Or Master P. So this was a treat. And I just so like I said, I got some notes on tracks.
Hey, I'm ready.
So the Carter.
The Carter 2.
The Carter 2.
So
2005. And funny that you just corrected me there.
Because there's a difference.
We texted about it. You were like, oh my God, the Carter 2, huge difference, LOL.
Big difference.
And I was like, I didn't know. Anyway.
It's just growth. It's just knowing that you're going to be the best and then knowing you are the best. So there's a difference. And then there's the Carter 3 where it's like, no, I am the best and this is why. So like, you know what I'm saying? So there's like this whole maturation process of Weezy from...
How long has that been his nickname?
Lil Weezy been since Block is Hot.
Well,
since he was in the Hot Boys.
Since
you got to go back to 2000 and 2001, like Guerrilla Warfare. 90,
did you watch Chappelle's show?
Yeah.
I feel like I used to hear Weezy from time to time but I never knew who it was referring to.
It depends on what the skit was.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, super fascinating dude.
Very.
you know, he's a junior, right? Or maybe.
No, it was Dwayne Michael Carter. He calls himself Birdman Jr. He calls him because there's another rapper, Stunner Man,
right.
Birdman. That was like his mentor, the guy that ran Cash Money.
But I mean, he and his dad share the same name, like when he was born, right? And he took the D off of it because Dad's Dwayne, and he took the D off because he said my dad is alive, but has never been a part of my life, and he isn't now. So I don't want to be Dwayne. I want to be Wayne. And I was like, oh man, like that's super cool, super admirable. Hurts a little bit to
But
hear.
A lot of guys that are successful, they're like, my dad wasn't there. Like look at LeBron, my favorite basketball player. Like his dad wasn't in his life. His mom was raising him.
That's like, I guess the point is like it's a little sad every time I hear that. Like, because I don't want a person to, feel that way. Like. I don't know.
But it's something that you can't change.
I know.
It helped fuel something inside of you to be great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna show you like you should have been in my life.
Yeah.
I was special.
I mean, let's see, 22 episodes ago, the person in that chair was at the same hospitality industry spot Anna and I met, and worked there for a long time, and then found a person, got married, had a child, and then years have gone by, and it took, I don't see her, and her anyway. So she's sitting there, and I find out that like she's on her own. Like Dad he's around, but and I'm like, what? Like
it's tough.
That's always I don't know. Obviously, I feel bad for the parent and the kid, but I don't know. It's sort of like avoiding confrontation and scrap. Like I don't know how you could walk around all day, every day, knowing
you got
and not go crazy.
You got a whole kid out here, multiple kids, and you don't take care of. You're not in their life at all. They might pop up on you and you see you. Like, just trust me. Like, I know, because I foster kids. And then, like, they'll still talk to their parents. And I'll be like, man, you have both of your parents. And, like, neither one has custody. But they're yelling at you about something. And, like, this can't go down. Like, I have to get the phone. Like, nope. You can't disrespect this kid this way because he's in care. And you're half the reason and you're the other half. So if there's any punishments here, I'm laying out the punishments. It's not y'all. We're trying to repair your relationship,
dude.
So it is tough.
How could you?
I can't be friends. I couldn't be friends with someone that's like, bro, you're a deadbeat, because basically that's what you are. You're a deadbeat. You don't have to get along with your kid's mom to be in your kid's life. Like, you got to figure it out. Whatever it is, you got to figure it out. And if you try hard enough, guess what? You'll figure it out.
Right, or try a little bit. You
just got to try.
Yeah.
Like, because I know mom wants a break, bro. Like, she don't want to do all this on her own. Like, I was raised by a single mom. Now, my dad worked, sent child support, got us when he could. My mom had sole custody. She chose to move away. Once I was older, I understood it. I was like, oh, she left a whole state where you're like, son, this is the 90s. Like, I'm working 18-hour days. Like, I'm trying to provide money. Like, you got to eat. And my mom was like, no, I'm moving. And then it's just like, well, you got sole custody. I can't do anything about that. But if you're here, I'm going to see my kids. It's just a difference than acting oblivious. Like, no, my kid lives 4 blocks from me, but I never see him.
I mean, I don't know.
But it's
how I don't know how I could feel good about, how like if something in your house breaks and whatever that thing is, it hasn't typically been your wheelhouse of handiness, but you figure it out and you fix it, and you feel fucking good. You feel
great
good
about it. You're like, I got to this.
How do you go feel good about a little thing like that when that is just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always looming, or I would think it would be, unless there's a way to just turn it off.
I just don't think I could enjoy life like I should, knowing that I'm missing out on so much of life.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing at that point.
Well, okay. So last episode, dude gave me a huge list, and I had to pare it down. We couldn't.
You told me 5. I was like, I'll give you 5 albums off the top, and I gave them to you pretty quick. I was like, no.
So, but one of his records was the very first Police record. So I'm looking shit up about them. They had They had 5 total records over a pretty short window.
Because that's Phil Collins, right?
No, it's Sting.
Bruce Sting?
Sting and Stuart Copeland.
Okay.
And
Sting,
I forget the guitar players. Huh. Anyway.
See, I don't know.
But so just short window, 5 records. And by the 5th record, they all recorded their shit separately. And then, because they weren't getting along. But across 5 records, they sold 75 million copies. And I was like, damn, that's fucking nuts. This dude sold over 120 million records. And I was just like, God damn, people have been buying some Lil Wayne.
He carried hip-hop. He's my favorite artist.
Okay.
So if I was to choose a one, I would choose Wayne.
Okay.
He's he's a year older than I am.
Okay.
But then there was just like that 2005 to 2010. Mm-hmm. It's just, if you go back to hip hop, if you look at the books,
he retired.
If you go from 2005 to 2010, there was so much content. There was just remixes, mixtapes, real albums, just so much stuff, and he was just on the top of his game. It was like the greatest feat I've ever watched. It's like watching Michael Jordan in his prime, and you're like, no, I can't really tell you about the 6 rings. You kind of have to watch him. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to watch him do it, because now you go see highlights. You're like, oh, he's just a scorer. It's like, no, you have to watch him demoralize these guys. Like, take their hearts. They were scared to guard him. That's how Wayne is. Wayne is like, he's so good. Like, that's the thing. And it's like, he had a little lull, and now he's like bounced back, and he's like so good. And all his features the last 3 years, or his mixtapes, you listen to him, you're like, man, this kid is like young again.
Wow.
He did hit the drug spell. Like, he was on the lean. He was on the opiates heavy. He was sipping lean like all the time.
He was what?
Sipping lean. That's what they call
sipping
lean, like LEAN.
Okay.
It's just codeine. It's just cough syrup, soda with candy, and they'll drink it. It makes you a zombie. You know what I mean? But it gives you like, it's a opiate, so it's like liquid morphine in your body, so it makes you feel like
I bet it feels amazing.
So like, you know what I mean? So he had to slow down, like, you know what I mean? But he sold all those records.
Dude,
he was robbed. Like, did you see that he didn't get paid all his money? Like,
I mean, he's had so much shit happen. He's had seizures. He's been sued. He's been
the suer, trying to get money back. He tried to kill himself when he was 12.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he shot himself when he was 12.
Wow.
Tried to commit suicide. So like, he's been through so much. And look, he discovered, like, who'd he sign? He signed Nicki Minaj. He signed Drake. He signed like artists that's just as big as he was. Like, he just had an eye for talent. Like, he just saw, like, I can do this. And if he would have really had his label set up like it was supposed to, and not like it was, and he was getting all his money stolen under this other umbrella, like, he would be the biggest. Like,
wow.
Like, he probably would have been a billionaire before Jay-Z. Like, Young Money, they would have, with Drake and Nicki Minaj and himself, like, he would have just surpassed it so much faster. But his money was getting stolen. So, like, you know what I mean? Somebody was shaving off the top.
Damn.
But if your paperwork's not right, that's what happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and then you get stressed out. You have your seizures. You start losing your hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go to jail for a little bit of time for a gun that's on your bus. But, like, you know, you're paranoid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, if I had millions, somebody was trying to kill me, and, you know, Young Thug's in jail now. But his manager, they tried to kill Lil Wayne at one point. Like, if you go do the research, it's like so crazy. But Wayne is the best, in my opinion. That's why they do these versus battles now. Like, there's no one to versus Wayne. Like, I don't think that it would be a fair fight. Like, it just wouldn't be fair, because he has that much lines or that much music.
Sure.
To me.
He's a wild dude. The Mob. Fantastic beat.
As soon as you walk in,
the raps, I was like,
it's just,
but the beat,
but it's like 6 minutes of just rapping. But if you listen to the Carter and you know their beef and that stuff they had, you listen to it, you're like, oh, this is phenomenal. But you gotta know where everything is coming up from, like what led up to the point of the Carter 2. So there's a lot that leads up to the Carter 2, and then you're like, oh shit, this is crazy.
Fly-In was epic.
Flying, yeah.
Good flow. So talked about the dad thing. But I saw something that said he retired after the Carter 5, which was like 10 years ago.
Well, the Carter 5 just came out a couple years ago. And only reason he said he retired because that was supposed to be his last album on that other label, but they wouldn't release him.
Oh. So he wrote it a long time ago?
So he wrote it a long time ago.
I
so
see.
then he had to redo some other songs because that album was supposed to drop years ago. But then they were like, we're not letting you out of your deal. So then he was like, no, I need this Carter 5 album because now I'm leaving your label. I want to start my own thing.
Right.
I want to leave with this album. You can keep everything else.
So
I want to leave with this.
Across this window that you were talking about, was it 05 to 10, you said?
Where he was just the greatest.
Oh, yes. So are you like aware when the new record's coming out and getting it immediate?
Like,
okay.
As soon as when it drops, like my buddies are headed over with the bag of Kush, like ready to play 2K. Like, bro,
all right.
we're about to listen to No Ceilings. Like this is dedication too.
NBA 2K.
Oh yeah, for sure.
NBA
2K.
You log some hours doing that?
I used to log plenty. My son does now.
Okay.
But I make sure that he has the tools to log those hours.
Okay.
So yes.
Has that always been your game of choice?
Yeah.
Never been a Madden guy?
I would play Madden. Early years I would play Madden. After 05, it kind of got the same.
Yeah.
Kind of was. Because 2K was the football. Like, you got to do the 2K football, and then that's when Madden bought the licensing. And then it was kind of like, man, they're going to give us the same game every year. And they did. They still have.
Okay.
But NBA Live didn't survive because 2K makes a better sports game.
Mm.
And the only thing keeping them from doing the football was the money. Because it was like, we don't want to buy the licensing, the full licensing like EA does.
So you still, I mean,
play video games. Yeah, we got an Xbox X and a PlayStation 5.
Right, but also consume a decent amount of NBA.
I watch NBA more than. Only thing I watch more than NBA is KU basketball.
Okay.
And they only got 30 games pretty much a season. So.
Right. So how did you this past finals? It was.
I knew what was going to happen.
Boston and Golden State. Is that
right?
And Golden State won in 6, or
I think they won in 6.
And did you suspect that it was going to go down that way?
Correct.
And
once Boston made it, I was like, oh yeah, they can't beat Golden State. They don't got enough.
Wow. And how many is that for Steph now? Like 4? 4. Okay. I mean, he's still pretty young, isn't he?
32.
Okay.
But for NBA, for what he does, he's young.
I mean, he could win.
He could win a couple more.
A couple more.
He could win a couple more. But it's gonna be a crunch of numbers because.
Why do people hate him?
Not
to say that a lot do, but sometimes I hear
people don't like him because he's more. They don't feel like he's a grimy basketball player. When I say grimy basketball player, I think he's more finesse. He's more pretty, like front runner.
What's wrong with that?
It's like, hey, I want to shoot a pretty jumper. I want to cross you over, throw up a floater, laugh at you. Like, I want to play, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to shoot extra deep. So now you're playing off of me. So now I'm going to shoot the ball even deeper. So you know what I mean? So now when they see, like, kids play basketball, kids are trying to emulate what Steph does.
Okay.
So they feel like he like, you know what I'm saying, messed the game up. But I don't feel that way. I don't feel like Steph's a tough player. But I feel like...
But not every player has to be tough.
No one has to be tough. There's a way to stop Steph. Like, I don't think you can stop LeBron. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think there's a way to stop Jordan when he was in his prime. Or Magic. I think there's a way that you can shut Steph down. Now, he's still a great player, but I think there's a way, if you get physical with him and he's not running off a million screens, there's a way to shut him down.
Right. So, intentional, otherwise, maybe my own, I don't know, but I've never really, listened to a bunch of interviews or watched him play a bunch of basketball. But every time I see him or hear about him, he always seems like he's probably a pretty good dude.
No, he's probably a great guy.
He probably doesn't, go home and kick the dog and curse out the neighbor and then he's a really, really good basketball player.
But when he's winning, he's talking.
Okay.
He's a talker. When he's winning, he's talking.
If you're going to talk, you got to be a little tough.
He's being kind of, asshole-ish
when
you're winning. But if you're losing, you're kind of sulking. You don't got that same energy. You're kind of like...
For real? That's how Steph is?
He's kind of like a sulker. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not really that same high energy.
All of that sounds like he's kind of flirting with being a poor sport.
A little bit.
So bit.
Some people see that and they're like, I don't know.
Okay. I've never known.
But I watch him because I'm a huge LeBron fan.
Okay.
And I'm a huge proponent of organizations help you win titles, opposed to great players. They got to recognize they have a great player,
Yeah.
and then it's on that organization to do right by that player.
Okay.
And we see it in sports all the time. Look at the line. Look at Detroit. Like they never, like they'll get a Calvin Johnson and they don't do anything with them, or Barry Sanders, and you're like, bro, like you gotta do something else.
I think I saw that Wayne is a big Nirvana fan.
He is,
and then he blogged for ESPN the magazine.
He did for a little bit.
I mean,
and he was a regular. Him and Skip Bayless are really good friends.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, that
like,
guy. Meaning the dude that sits opposite Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
I can't stand.
I know.
I feel persona. Like I seriously feel like I need to have a shower because I just heard his name.
Oh,
you know, but I
like Shannon Sharp. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't know those guys that like each other behind the scenes. Like, you know,
right.
They go out to dinner.
Right.
We're supposed to hate one and like the other one.
So in 2016, apparently he made some critical Black Lives Matter statements.
Yes,
I don't feel connected to a damn thing that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy as shit. Later added that his status as a wealthy black man who has white fans is evidence that black people are valued in the United States. I was like, whoa.
Listen.
I
don't take everyone's quotes as face value or whatever mood they were in. I don't know.
Sure.
But if you go back and look at when George Bush was president and his old music, when he was plugged in to the streets and he wasn't this 100 millionaire, 200 million guy that lives in a penthouse somewhere that isn't in the hood anymore. So like it's hard to relate to these guys on that type of level. And then since this is a black successful person, they want to put a mic in your face and be like, hey, can you speak out on the Black Lives Matter movement? But you come from where he comes from, like very impoverished, poor, like, no, you know the problems that I have. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's a sex offender lives in my neighborhood and I live out here in the richest neighborhood, wherever. Like I'm getting flyers saying there's sex offenders. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't escape it, but like how they voice it on TV and how you see it. Like I live it. Like I'm a black man in America. Like it's just they find the most successful ones like, hey, how do you feel about this? And it's like, bro, what do you want me to say?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I work for all these corporations and enterprises that are run by these powerful cisgender male guys or whatever, and you want to talk to me about Black Lives Matter when we got this racist ass president, you know what I'm saying? And then he needed that president.
Are you talking about Bush?
No, I'm talking about Trump.
Because my next thing is, did he really endorse Trump?
He had to do that.
Prop him up or something?
He had to because he needed to be the Fed seized his plane. And he had already had a gun charge.
Oh, okay.
So they ran on Lil Wayne's plane, and they found a .45 gun that had his initials. That was a gift to him. Someone gave him a gift. It was like this gold gun. I was like, bro, what are we playing in Goldeneye? 007, bro? What's going on? And then he was going to do like 10 years.
Damn.
So
for having a gun?
So he had to get on the pardon list.
Okay.
So... And Trump's drawing for straws, and they're asking all these people like, who can do a concert for me, trying to go against Biden, who can do this. So they was like, hey, y'all got a little bit of scratch my back, I scratch yours. And when you rich and you trying to, I don't want to go to jail for 10 years.
I don't want to go to jail for 10 minutes.
So bro, so what you need me to say? You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna win. So what you need me to do? What you need me to do? So like, I don't hold that against anybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not snitching on somebody else. You just telling people like, hey, Trump ain't that bad of a dude. But other people were trying to work with him to get some other initiatives going for their communities. And people were like, you can't work with this racist. But it's just like, but it's the president. He holds a lot of power. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
are you keeping tabs on the...
I don't even fucking know. Somebody done rated some shit.
Yeah.
I'm too busy, bro.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Kids got too many activities.
Yeah.
And my spare time, I want to be doing some shit I want to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be like, let me read about some documents that had confidential on, top secret.
Best rapper alive. I love the backup vocals on it.
Oh, it was good.
And Lock and Load featuring Corrupt. At that point, best track so far.
Hold on, what's the best track so far?
So when I'm doing my listen, at this point, there's still a lot left. But I was like, Lock and Load, that's the best track so far.
Oh, you like the corrupt produced.
Grown Man featuring Currency with the little $sign for the S, which was dope. And his flow is
Oh, Currency, yeah, Jet Life.
Yeah, I've never heard of him. Entertainment Weekly, Ryan Dombal. This record transcends Wayne's inflated ego. Has he been known as a guy with a big?
I wouldn't say that, but you got to be cocky though. You got to be. It's a sport. It's a 101 sport. It's like playing tennis.
Yeah.
It's like playing hockey.
Yeah.
Golf. You got to be the shit. F1 racer. You're not gonna go in there like, well, I might come in second.
Right.
Like, no, I'm the best. Like, I'm gonna tell you I'm the best. I'm gonna show you I'm the best. I got the best work ethic. Like,
the title track, Carter 2. That's really good stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's a really good transition into Hustler music.
Before Oh No? Oh No? Did you skip over Oh No?
I'm only writing down songs that I was like, that was pretty cool.
Oh, okay. I loved Oh No. Okay,
so we talked about the
but Hustler's music. So at that time, if that was a different artist, that song would have been like #1 for like forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why
not for him?
When the Carter 2 dropped, like Wayne in 05, like he wasn't. This started like this is me, guys. Like this is who I am. These next mixtapes, any rap beats, anything, I'm gonna remix it. I'm him.
Okay.
Capital HIM.
Okay.
Me. So that's where it started. Like, you know what I mean? The Carter 1, like my little brother says, he was hungry.
Sure.
And the Carter 2 is like, all right,
I'm here. Okay.
And the Carter 3 was just, I'm eating off the fruits.
Oh, okay.
I'm eating
Interesting.
good. Life's good.
Good. Good for him. Like, so this idea, which I mean, my first, of course I listened to Michael Jackson and shit, but I mean, like the first toe dip into rap or hip hop waters was Easy Does It, and then Straight Outta Compton, and then a lot of Too Short, and I kind of Ice-T. I mean, but across from, and I haven't been plugged in on a
lot of new stuff. Yeah.
In large pockets, right? I'm over here in this world of music, and sometimes I'm listening to hip hop and rap, but nothing quite like middle school and early high school where I was like consuming it, but it feels like since the birth of hip hop and let's leave hip hop out and just say rap up to now, that the term bitch has just like, do you think that there are women that listen to a lot of rap and that hearing that doesn't bother them at all, or do you think it bothers, you know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of dudes, like sometimes there's intent, like that bitch fucking did.
Well, because you got to understand though that there's that power dynamic between male and female, so there's always that misogyny that where it's all ingrained into us, because it was always, you grew up, it was like the woman cooks and the man gets the money.
Yeah.
So it's already these things is ingrained, and like bitch is a super derogatory term, but like you're like, man, I'm known Too Short. Nobody say bitch like Too Short, like, you know what I'm saying, or like Easy, like, you know what I'm saying. Then Wayne and them would say bitch, and I look at bitch like a person, place, or thing. So it may not necessarily be a woman, like, you know what I'm saying, but like, what are we talking pertaining to?
All right, so like I've definitely seen scenarios where there's a group of guys and a group of girls, and they're out, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't go out together, mm-hmm. but they're all kind of hanging, mingling.
Yeah.
And one of them will say like, I don't know, do you feel like we should fuck with these bitches? And it's audible for everybody. And like, you look at the women who all heard it said, and nobody's like, what? They don't have a reaction sometimes.
Because they might be desensitized to
it.
I feel like now in your little chats, if you want to be like, man, where the bitches at? Like,
right.
Kind of like joking in the manner, you know what I'm saying? We're going out sharking. Like, I'm not going out with the intent to find my wife. I'm going out with the intent to hook up or to have a good time. Like, I didn't really talk like that with my friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, they'll say they want to go sharking or do things like that, but it was never like, where the hoes at? Or like, where the bitches at? Like, you know what I'm saying? We never really talked like that.
Okay.
So, but I hear people that do it. Like, I hear it. Or guys using acronyms like DTF. I didn't know what the hell that was. Like, they was like, oh, they're DTF.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is these people
doing? So it's fascinating to me to think about, because there are, if we're looking at the whole population of English speaking women, wherever they may be, there's definitely a portion of those that don't want you to use that to refer to them or their friends, right?
You got them
and
fucked
then,
up.
And then there's some others that, it's almost like dude, like bitch and dude, like these dudes and those bitches. And it's just, oh yeah, cool. Yeah. And it's like, all right. I mean, I guess that's what it is desensitization, but it's fascinating.
And it depends on the girl. Like some people, they want to hang up. They don't care. They're not that nitpicky about, all right, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you listen to a lot of hip hop music, it's a lot of nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of niggas and bitches.
Right.
And like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of niggas and bitches in the music. So, you know what I'm saying? So I look at it as like, man, they gonna call me a nigga, these bitches, niggas and bitches. It's just a part of what it is in the culture of how we grew up and like what we listen to and how some people talk and how they're desensitized or they're aware of it. Like I'm hyper aware, like I don't want that language. Like you know what I'm saying, you're degrading me. Like, you gotta respect that.
I'm assuming Isaac and Jocelyn are aware of the existence of that word.
Oh yeah, cause I talk at home, like I let them know, like, look, you around your friends, you can speak a certain sort of way. You're around these like white kids and stuff like that, you don't necessarily speak like this around them, and like you don't want them to think that this is comfortable for them to say, like, you know what I'm saying,
right?
So you know what I mean, and it's just something that some people turn into an endearing term, because you will hear a lot of black people that hate the word, like, you know what I'm saying, they hate.
I'm sorry, some people turn into what?
Like it's like an endearing term.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying, like that's my nigga, that's my boy, that's
homie.
my guy, that's my homie. Like, but it's in the culture though. It's not like, hey, Blair's not like. I'm not like, Blair's my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? But just so they have an understanding, you know what I'm saying, of street smarts and culture.
Do you think that, I mean, do they use it?
No, not really.
Do you
think Isaac, I think my son does. Maybe when he's around his friends.
When dad's not around?
When I'm not around and he's around his little homies and stuff. Like, but the same thing that I did when I was a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't use words around.
He's got a good heart. He's not like
no aggressive. And he's actually had the negative of that happen to him at school, where someone's calling him the ER. You know what I'm saying? So
sweet.
We've had to have these conversations the last few years and get an understanding of it.
I hope that was a single episode. That
actually, in that environment at the school.
Current school?
He's at a super mixed school now. He loves being in Lincoln.
Okay, cool.
But at AL, it just happened. It occurred a lot. Like, not necessarily with him, but you would hear about the instances and parents having difficulties, and then like it's just out there.
Damn.
So we got to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because he's 100% black. He's 100% Haitian. So like you gotta. America sees you one way though. You can be whatever you want. But when they see you speak English, this is what you're viewed. So, like, you got to understand that,
Man.
There's different rules, and it just sucks that's just the way it is. That's the way life is, and when you dig into it, you're like, man, there is different rules for different folks.
Yeah.
So.
Receipt. There's a female vocal track on there that's not credited. I thought that was odd.
Yeah, I don't know if she got paid. I don't know.
But crediting doesn't necessarily have to mean paid.
I don't know why she's not on there.
Well, I mean, sometimes you see, sometimes I think it's overlooked. Uh-huh. If you have a lot of personalities that go into making a record.
But she's very strong on the record.
But and then I think sometimes it's in swaths. I think it's happened intentionally where they're like, things were cool when I want you to come feature on this one track, and then by the time you got it recorded and turned, like, maybe you guys don't like each other as much anymore. Anytime I see somebody went uncredited, I'm like, oh, what was going on? Maybe nothing.
Maybe nothing.
Kind of hard saying shit to your face, so I do it over snares and bass. Receipt's a really good track.
Let the beat take me away.
Shooter featuring Robin Thicke.
Yeah, big song.
I was like, what?
Big song.
The Blurred Lines dude?
Yes.
Is that who that is?
Stole Marvin Gaye's song. Yeah, him and Pharrell. Yeah,
Blurred Lines is a Marvin Gaye song?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Him and Pharrell, they got sued in T.I. They all got sued.
Oh, for real?
Because Marvin Gaye's estate don't play.
I would hope not.
If you use their record, you better have got clearance, and you can't make a lot of money off of it.
Right.
So, yeah, they have to pay.
The bass line reminds me of Freaks of the Industry. from Digital Underground, Sex Pack. That was that was probably my first.
What you know about freaks of the industry?
I mean, if you see us backstage, be prepared to G. Man, that record, I mean, it was like 88, and I'm, again, middle school, and it was so slick and sexified. I was like, yo, this, like, I haven't been able to articulate all the hormone and, change and sex, but this record did it for me.
Right.
Like, there's some real, like, sexy raps. There's some sexy like girl's voice kind of thing.
There's a lot going on.
I love that record. I just bought it on vinyl on Friday. Just I'm not doing a big thing, but I just have a couple over there to put up. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, literally the first records that I have a few that I've just inherited, but I went and bought 5. They were like $33 and $36 a piece. I was like,
gotta pay.
Okay. All right.
Inflation.
Man.
Inflation.
I got the shit on my phone right now.
I can download it.
Wheezy Baby featuring Nicki.
Mm-hmm.
It just said Nicki.
Yeah, it's just Nicki. It's just a Nicki.
Reminiscent of Dre and Easy trying to dial shit in the studio. Good stuff. Tension in the music and verses, but in a satisfying way. Mm-hmm. Really good track. One of the best I've heard a lot of rap. I haven't consciously listened to a lot of rap, but of all the rap I've ever heard, that was a really strong track. I was like, this dude.
Very good album.
I mean, I'm a D-boy. Is that what it is?
D-boy. Mm-hmm.
Featuring Birdman.
That's who's be stealing all his money.
Oh shit. Well, there's a perfect example. They had a relationship, and he came on his record, and now they probably don't get along. If he stole all his money.
Well, they kind of get along. It's just it's deep because he's been with them since he was 12, 13 years old.
Stealing from him?
But Wayne's been rapping with Cash Money, so it's just a hard relationship. It's just it's a difficult relationship.
I ain't trying to get my ship sunk. Fuck you, pirates. Feel me. This interview is over. Go to the next song, bitch. I mean, there we go.
Is that even written down? Like, what did she ask? What his motivation was? And he was kind of getting mad at the reporter. I like the little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, did this reporter angle of asking them some stupid questions?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just fascinating to me.
Yeah. Concepts of building this out in the studio.
Whatever context it happened in, he put that on the record. It's like, yep. You want that? Yeah, I want it on there. Don't ask me again. Get Over. Miss my homie, Can't Stay Sober. Anyway, the stretch of Hit 'Em Up to Wheezy Baby is like, I mean, to me, it was kind of the anchor of the record. It was real strong.
Pretty solid.
Right? Yeah.
Very, very solid.
And not to say like this other part and that other part suck.
But you just enjoy that run of records.
I gotta pee.
Go ahead.
Are we still okay time wise?
Yeah, we're great.
Okay. Dude, I can't describe to you how frustrating it is that the second I made the connection that you're at somebody else's house, instantly this panic of just a fucking white person coming out and,
bro, what are you doing in my house?
Dude.
Like, oh shit, this ain't Blair's house. Like,
I was like, I don't want. It does not feel good to have that be the very first, concern. Like, it could be like maybe he's not in a safe neighborhood. It's really hot out. It could be it could be a whole bunch of other things. But
I wore this Casey Kern shirt today because
there you go.
Brookside, so maybe they didn't know. Like, hey, I like the women's soccer team, so I'm not that harmful, guys.
That was really the intent behind putting that shirt on
today. Yes,
Fuck.
To be safe.
I mean, okay. I don't know. I could say just get myself in trouble. It's obviously not a thing I have to do. So
no,
you hear somebody tell you that, and you're like, "Fuck, okay." Anyway, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, 1998.
Listen, I was so young, so just think about this. Like, I'm like a freaking sophomore in high school. I'm in Denver, Colorado. I'm going to Denver East High School. Like, oh my god.
What was that? What was Denver East like?
I was good. It was actually a good school. It was pretty diverse. Great in sports. It's like a pillar high school now. Like you go there and like the kids are trying to get into that school. It's
no way.
Crazy. And I didn't know. I didn't think about it back then like that. But like it's just built up around there. But like DMX, that was his second album that year. He had dropped 2 albums in 1 year. Like that's kind of unheard of. Like 2 massive albums. Like his Dark and Hell is Hot was like, bro, this is massive. But then he dropped Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and I was like, holy shit. Like everything this dude is rapping about, I can see it. Like I could feel his pain, like his prayers, that's the song, like it's like the Heat movie, and they like robbing the bank at the end. I'm like watching it, and I'm like, man, I can see him. You know what I'm saying? Boomer didn't make it, neither did Stan. Now it's folk spitting $300,000. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he's telling you some stuff. I'm like, man, DMX is a wild boy. It's like watching the one of those movies that's like high drama, high action. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, okay.
So you get that with DMX, and he's just like...
So immediately where I go is... because I didn't know that until you just said that he dropped 2 albums in the same year.
Like, that was the second one.
That had to be intentional, right? Like,
I think he got out of jail, and he was just ready. He just had it ready. Like locked and loaded. He dropped It's Dark and Hell is Hot, and then he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna drop this one."
So he showed up with material that was probably pretty fleshed out, and he just needed to get in there and lay it down.
Swiss Beats was his producer, and he was young. Swiss Beats was young, like 18, 19 back then. I think the first record. I think when he was first starting to produce, I think he was 17. They go back, like, because I think it was like Swiss Beats people that was running the Rough Riders record label, and then he was the producer, but he was super young, so like. You got a Hungry DMX, you got Swiss, like, you know. Oh, goodness, man. Just thinking about those records and just knowing I was like 15 years old.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just kind of gives me giddy.
Bring your whole crew. Fucking baller.
Yeah.
I was like.
Just fucking get you amps.
I've never. So I think I've had one little, like I guess a compartment that I put DMX in. And it's probably like
Party Up. Like, what are you putting? What box are you putting DMX in?
Like having never sat down and listened to him, and like with a little bit of ability to like identify him if I happen to hear him. Mm-hmm. I think like I always thought that he was aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, and so and that's it. That's all. You know, I've never sat down and dug into it. So when you do, it's like. How aggressive is it going to be? Is it going to be abrasive? Is it going to be an aggressive that like I can jive with?
No, it's definitely aggressive you could jive with.
Yeah.
It's definitely like X, Darkman X.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah, Darkman X.
Okay. What do I have here? Chunk driver insurance. Okay. Drunk driver insurance. Jehovah settlement. I mean. Beaten so badly he lost teeth, slept with roaches and mice. I mean, like, and then I wrote, that's just a surface scratch of the shit that happened when he was probably a little person, right?
Right, when he was probably a kid or growing up.
Like, I don't know anybody that had.
He's had a lot of felonies, but even as his adult life.
But shit has like not. I'm not pointing out shit he's done. I'm pointing out. Circumstances he was in. Yes
100%
that were probably not other people's faults,
right? Because when you're a kid, is it your fault?
No,
but you blame yourself because you're like, what could I have done? As you grow up, like you live with that trauma, and then it turns into something more because I could have done something different. I could have what did I do wrong? Why did I deserve this? You know, and you have to get your thinking together. Like it wasn't your fault. Like you made the best of what you had.
I mean, he's that shit. Like, to then arrive in adulthood and have some semblance of success and accomplishment, and it's just like, damn, dude. I mean, congratulations, because like I don't know how you even made it to adulthood. Right. Like there could have been so many things that cut you off of the pass in life.
You could have been in jail forever. You could have killed yourself. Could have been murdered. Anything, overdose, like whatever. Something could have happened to you.
Yes, and yes. I mean,
100%.
Ain't no way. Killer flow. So again, it's like, oh yeah, this is an aggressive I can jive with.
Yes.
It's not off-putting. First 4 records debuted at number 1 on Billboard. Like, who else can say that?
It was a good year. It was a good year.
I mean,
for DMX.
That's born again Christian and a deacon. I mean, 17 kids with 11 women, 30 times in jail, 3 times in rehab. Like,
he's dealing with a lot.
He is.
He's dealing with a lot. He still made it.
Yeah. Coming From featuring Mary J. Blige was really good. Killer beats on It's All Good. A Marilyn Manson track.
The Omen.
I mean, what?
Yes, because you got to know, man, you really got to know it's dark and hell is hot. Like, you got to listen to that first one, because he has the song where he's talking to the devil and he's talking to him again. This is the second part of that song.
Oh, cool.
So he got a lot
It's Dark and Hell is Hot is the name of his first record?
album. So,
okay.
And it connects the dots to the second album, because
Oh,
there's
cool,
a lot
man.
of kind of part 2s or kind of like extensions of certain pieces.
That's cool. That's like some movie shit.
It was a good year.
That's
It
awesome.
was a good year.
Slippin' was beautiful
Love
and
that.
harrowing. I almost teared up.
Yeah, because it's been through mad different phases, like mazes.
And I wrote, I think this is the spot where I heard my brain say, I think I love this record. And it's such a wild experience. Like I said, you know, it's like just carrying around that label. DMX is aggressive. I don't know if I'd be into that. And then,
you got your headphones on and you're bumping and you're like, holy shit. Like, he's aggressive, but in a real way.
Yeah.
Because you feel him.
Yeah.
Because you feel that pain and that emotion, and you listen to what he's saying, and you're like, man, it's different. It's different. It's not aggressive to be aggressive.
I think where, you know, if you take, like, whatever the word aggressive makes you feel, I think there's an inherent questioning behind it, which is, why is this person being aggressive, right? Or why do they come off as aggressive? He's got about 4,500 reasons why he's completely entitled
to be aggressive,
even if it's just in sound, right? But Dog for Life. I don't. So you're 15 when this comes out.
Yeah,
just
young,
fresh-ish on the high school scene.
Sophomore, Denver East High School.
And what grade? Oh, did you say 5th grade when you went out there?
After 5th grade, so
after
that summer.
Okay, so
that
you've
summer,
had 6th, 7th, and 8th to sort of
moved around a lot. Went to a different school every year.
No,
when I lived in Colorado.
Okay.
We moved a lot, so never got to establish roots.
So you were a brand new student freshman year?
I went to a different school every year until I came back to Kansas City.
Right.
So when we moved to Colorado, I went to a different school. 6th, 7th. 6th grade, I went to 2 schools. 7th grade, I went to 1 school. 8th grade, I went to 1. 9th grade, I went to 1. And then 10th, I went to 1. And then I moved back to live with my dad after that. I wasn't doing well in school. I was kind of telling my mom I was over it. You know what I mean? I just wanted to go back to see what my dad had to offer.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? So
was this... Okay, so the 98... I mean, cell phones weren't really...
I had a pager.
But I mean, to talk to your dad.
Oh yeah, I would have to go to the payphone and then call collect or something like that. Yeah.
But
I would call every so often. Sometimes he would be at work. I'll talk to my grandma because he stayed. My dad and my grandma stayed in the same house.
I'm curious. Like, I mean, if you reached that point where you decided I want to go.
Oh, I didn't know. I just had enough behavior to my mom to where she wasn't gonna want me. Like, she's not going to deal with me.
It was time for you to go.
Yeah, like I made it to where
shit.
I couldn't just call him and be like, "Daddy, I want to come home." I didn't have that enough self-confidence in myself to have that conversation.
Okay.
So I just did enough stuff like let my grades slip and, you know what I'm saying, have attitude and just kind of be depressed all the time because I was like, you know what I mean? And it was just like a tough life. It's just like I wasn't able to be a kid. For real, I was watching my younger siblings. I had older brothers. They were in and out of jail. They were like older.
Really?
Yeah, like just dealing with a lot. Then my mom's working a lot, so I'm competent. So like, you need to be home with your siblings. You need to cook this dinner till I get here. So I never felt that sense of being a kid. Like, all right, I just want to play a sport. I just want to have support from a parent.
I just want to chill. I don't want to be responsible for other humans.
And I just didn't get that. So then it was just like I was over it. You know what I mean? But then I felt like I carried a lot of trauma and a lot of stuff with me for a lot of years.
Do you still?
I'm working on getting it unpacked the last few years, doing some therapy. Like, you know, I'll just letting anyone know, like, it's okay to go to therapy. Dude. It's okay to go talk to somebody, read something.
You say okay. I would say I encourage.
I think everyone should.
That.
Because we're all raised with biases and we don't know what they are because of the households. Like, because you're closed into the household you're raised in. So you don't know if what you're being taught is everything. But if you just take that and then you just teach it and reteach it and you don't unpack any of it, like, it could become problematic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's systemic, and then you could have the same issues.
So I did my kindergarten. The school I was at closed when that school year ended. And that was also the last year. I don't even know if my parents were living together for that year. But either way, then I went to a different school for first grade. And then my mom remarried and we moved to Atlanta. So I went to 2 different schools for second grade. And I was at the second one through 4th. But then that marriage was over. Moved back. We're like living with family and friends for 5th grade. Then my mom got a house. And so a different school for 6th grade. So it ended up being 6 elementary schools.
It's tough.
And then now, okay, all right, now we have a place, and we're middle school, you know. But luckily, that's what everybody's doing, right? They're going. Everybody's the new kid.
No kid, yeah.
So, so point being, I mean, I think, you know, I was into my 40s for sure when I started to like see the path or the direction in which I need to reach to start to unpack my own stuff.
Just your own stuff that you dealt with.
Yeah, and like to, you know, I'm not saying I'm not fixed, I'm not solved, I still have work to do, but I think I reached a point where, you know, at one point I looked and I could see all my shit on the table and be like, you know what? It's okay. Like it's fine that stuff happened the way it is, and I am who I am, and try to be kind to people and love my kids and
best you can
and be a good neighbor. And that I don't know if there's anything else, you know,
or if you even have the energy to do much more else.
Right.
Because once you do that and you understand all that, like, that's a very exhausting experience.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how to know where to reset or to go recharge without, I would say, pushing others away or coming off. Like, you got to own. It's just so much that you got to own when you're taking accountability in your shit.
Dude, it's so exhausting to sort of like the same reaction when you're not on my front porch. And you know, it's so upsetting to see it all out there and go, like, I've not visibly, like you might not know, but in some senses, you talk about American kids being in France and acting. It's like I've been, you know, kind of, it's not fair, or some version of that internally, or it shouldn't have gone down this way, or I wish that, you know, whatever and just to like live like that, you know, like it should be different or better, or I don't know, and just to be like, you know what. I kind of like who I am, you know.
Well,
like,
once you realize that you're like, the best me is just me, like like, you know what I'm saying? It's me, no restrictions. It's just me owning my stuff, taking account for others' feelings, not over talking, being open, letting everybody get their say and feel seen. You know, what I mean? Being inclusive. Like, hey, everybody's included. Everybody, we're everybody. We all can do this. So yeah. I kind of feel that way with my basketball team because I coach my little girls' basketball team, which is my joy.
I didn't. Okay, so I mean, Adeline did some hoops super young, and then neither one of them did any hoops that first winter of COVID, which killed me. Because
it was tough because there was no Y ball or nothing.
Well, I felt like they had both taken teeny tiny steps in the confidence,
and you wanted to keep it going.
And other kids, I've found like other parents were still putting their kids in. They're finding places. I was like, don't, no, because the next year they'll have a whole other year's edge. But I discovered last winter because then now Adeline's back playing basketball. That's my favorite sport. Just of all the kids' sports that they play,
watch.
my son, all the sports my son plays, all the things that she does, the girls' basketball was the best. And most games were like 14-11, and they're only like 4-minute quarters, just fucking nail biting every. My buddy from college was in town. We did episode 1 the weekend. He came with his kids, and so we went to Leahy's game, and then we went to Adeline's game, and I mean, the fourth quarter aged me like 15 years, and every possession, it was like 1 point was riding the back. That horn sounded. My buddy goes, "You did not emotionally prepare me for." I was like, I didn't know, like I'm still, but that's got to be.
It is. It is great. Because some days it be those close games, and then some days you get blown out by like 30. You're like, what happened? Oh, those girls, you find out like, oh, they're a year older. They've been playing together since they were 4. It's like, oh, I could tell. I got some girls off the street, and we're trying to get it to work. You know what I mean? But it's fun. It's so fun.
I tell you what, it's so fun, and there's, I'm sure this is the case on most every team, but Adeline's team has a couple or 3 girls that.
Oh,
they carry the team.
They're just above, head and shoulders above the other girls.
And if for whatever reason, and to me, they always look amazing. Like nobody has a shitty game, to me, but for whatever reason, they decide that I fucked up on this one play or my whole game was like.
Oh, they get emotional.
I'm like, I might have to step outside, or I'm gonna start crying too. Like I can't handle it. It's
tough when you lose those 4-point games, or those like when it's 2 baskets, or they know they missed a couple free throws and they're trying hard, and then like you get over there and you're like clapping it up, like we got to shake their hands, and like you see the tears, and you're like, oh, girls, it's just one season game. We got like multiple games coming. We got multiple games.
Ghetto D, 1997.
See, and I go younger because it's just an influence of like my older brothers. Like Master P was my first. Like success. When I think of success, when I think of somebody that's from the hood, that got into white America, that made this fucking money, like, you know what I'm saying, that like built businesses, built companies,
dude,
still doing it. Like Ghetto D was like my 9th grade year. I was at Aurora Central High School, and it was just No Limit was dropping the album like every week. Like every other week, they were dropping the album, and it's just something about Master P. Now, Master P, he's not the greatest rapper. He's not the great. The way that they chose their beats, like the format of how the songs went, it's just I could listen to Ghetto D, Bourbons and Lax. I could listen to Make 'Em Say I could listen to Captain Kirk. What is it? Is it Bitches? Bitches and Blunts. Like I could listen to a lot of that Weed and Money. I could listen to a lot of
Bourbons and Lax was a nice finish.
Oh goodness,
nice
the finish the album was just perfect.
10 days on Charlotte Hornets training camp roster 2 years after this record comes out. Yeah. I mean, I knew because so here's what I remember. Like Death Row was really and then all this, and then and I was like, they're gonna take over the world. And then it was like I looked away and I looked back, and he was like doing all these, like he had a clothing business,
shoes.
He's doing shit in the NBA.
Coca-Cola.
He's all over the place,
investing,
like
moguls type. That's what I'm saying. Like somebody from a poor, impoverished neighborhood selling whatever you have to sell to get out of there and to make it. He was just like a goal, like not a goal, but like. Hey man, we got somebody up here. It's not Oprah. It's not somebody that's clean and I'm gonna do this talk show and I'm gonna make this money with these daytime whatever. It's not somebody like that. It's like it's somebody that came from somewhere I came from.
Yeah.
But if you see Master P, he's like 6'6". He's a tall guy. When KU won the national title, my buddy, like he has connections. Like I met Master P. I was standing next to him. We were just hanging out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I know Jiggy. I know like some of the people that like work for him, and it's just like, man, like he's down here and I'm looking at this Like, he's just like an icon to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I gotta act super cool. Like, hey man, what's up? And just dap him up and just stand there and be cool. But I'm sitting there like
you
the
didn't
15,
say shit.
Nah, the 15-year-old me was like, bro, you know, you like an icon. You're like my Diddy. Like, fuck Diddy. Like, I love Master P. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Diddy's cool, but like, I like the No Limit. What they did, Grimy. I like the collaboration.
Is this in the building where the game?
No, this was somewhere else. His sons, he was trying to find.
You were hanging?
Yeah, they were just trying to find somewhere for his younger sons. They're like D1 prospects in high school.
Okay.
And they were trying to find somewhere for Mercy and Hershey to like play basketball.
Okay.
So we pulled up on them. Jiggy was like, pull up on us. We over here at this gym, and we like went, and they were eating some Raisin Canes, and Master P was just out there just chopping it up, and just like, man, I'm in New Orleans for the Final Four.
Yeah.
And I just met Master P, and I just
so you were around him for a handful of minutes?
Yeah, just like a little. We could have went some. They were somewhere else. We could have went
now
we were just hanging out. Yeah.
If rolling up on him, eating some Raisin Canes, sober, you just decides and is successful in not saying anything. If it were a different scenario and it's evening and there's drinks, do you think you would eventually be
I think I'd be like, bro, you like a goat. I'll tell him he's the goat.
Okay. I mean,
or one of the goats. If there was a Mount Rushmore of goats for what I think of, like in the hip hop community, as someone that grew up to be a mogul, like he would be the first one on my list.
So here, a thing I think about often is like, if an ordinary fellow like you or me, you know, busy with kids' activities and a job and so on and so forth, gets put in a situation where you're hanging out with somebody that's like wildly famous, whether you're a fan of them or not. And so for a minute, I think there's like this, there's a possibility of the two of you interacting on a completely normal human level, like you might with your next door neighbor or your friend down the street,
just shooting the shit
or whatever. But the minute and some people are so famous that it's unavoidable, right? But the minute that you acknowledge that you know who they are or that you're a fan, like the relationship is maybe forever changed. Even if it's not a relationship that's going to last, for days or weeks or months or whatever.
Because you never want that person to think that you want something from them, or that you're trying to get. You just like, man,
right?
I may have looked up to you,
but let's say even if you can make it completely clear that you do not genuinely in your heart want anything from them, it still changes, because it's never gonna. They're never gonna be never gonna be as interested in learning about you as you are about them, right?
Because it's a leverage thing now. Now they have leverage over you. They know that they can get you to do something, or like if you needed something, like because that's what I would think about. Like, man, like you're this guy, and then like, hey, I need you to run to the store for absolutely. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you need me to go get? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold up, bro, chill.
Right.
Now he got somebody else to do that.
Right.
Like,
right. So, weird to have this experience where it's like, okay, No Limit's going to be the next thing, and then I turn around and all Master P's doing all these other things. So for me, and I also kind of, maybe it was checking out of rap and hip hop for a minute around this time, but to me, it's like, oh, they never did. They never became the next Death Row. I mean, I know that he put out a lot of records and No Limit put out other records by other people.
And they made a lot of money.
Yeah, but it didn't ever seem to be this huge...
Like it should have. And like maybe... And people, because they got this documentary that was on BET where they talked about No Limit. And like maybe they felt like if he would have stayed focused on the music 100%,
right,
then they would have did that.
Right.
But he was trying to grow so many different avenues.
But he's not really. I'm asking. I don't know, but I think he's not really like a producer at heart. Like,
no, he's an artist.
Yeah, but you look at somebody like Dre,
and that's what Dre does.
He
makes the beats. Ice Cube writes the rhymes.
I know, but he's involved in making some shit of his own with a group, and then solo, and then like. I think he genuinely loved producing other people's shit, but then eventually it kind of ate his own shit. Like he hasn't really put out.
We still waiting on Detox.
It's not even. They changed the name of it.
It's like, that's what I'm saying. We've been waiting on it for so long.
And then he puts out a fucking compilation in 2015 called Compton. It's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Is that a turd? I haven't listened to it.
No, I think wasn't it based off of that NWA movie? That's what he dropped it at the same time, right?
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. But I mean, and I talked about this with another dude. Like for me, 2001. I know the Chronic was iconic and epic and awesome.
Great, 2001.
But 2001 is the far superior record to me.
Eminem was writing the rhymes. You goddamn right.
So it's sort of like that walking around with a child that you're not. He's very, very aware of what's happening in the rap and hip hop world, but he never put. It's got to be killing him that he's never put out that next.
You don't have to.
Give me one more platinum track and fuck rap, you can have it back. I mean,
But he's got billions. He sold headphones. He sold so much. It's like the game's changed.
I know.
Then you're divorcing, and then all your old past is brought up, and then it's cancel culture. So then it's just like, man, at some point you like, bro, like, what am I doing?
I guess that's Master P was an artist. He was more interested in doing.
But then he was the mogul. I mean, he was the artist, but then he's the owner of the label. So then you getting the guys to produce. So, but then you running everything and you at the top, and then guys don't feel like they getting compensated how they should, or you should be focused on my album. Is that some shit
that happened to him?
I'm sure it was. Yeah, it probably happens at every label.
Yeah.
Look at every artist. I don't know any artist that's not disgruntled or blaming the label or the A&R guy for not doing something right, So, but then you the money though. The only reason people looking at our label was because of me. So like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like now we're gonna produce your record. You don't get as much money as you think you're going to get because these are my producers. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're using my studios.
Yeah.
Like, we're using my marketing.
Yeah.
Like, the deal that I got for distribution, we're using my deal. So, you a part of it, but you just a cog. Like, I can move you out. You go to another label.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So.
I saw, do you know who Ben Shapiro is?
Yeah, he's a weird dude. He says he's like a right-wing type dude.
Yeah, and he speaks like 100 million miles an hour and is like, I think, pretty freaking like insanely book smart. So I can't.
Yeah.
It takes, but like if I watch a clip of him on Rogan or some other place, I can't really process the points that he's making in real time. Because I'm just not on that level smart. I wasn't wired that way, But he's part of a panel. I just saw this TikTok, and he's sitting up there, and somebody says to him, like maybe somebody in the crowd says something like, that disgruntled example of the I'm not getting the blah blah blah, and he says he lights this person on fire, and he's like, if you're the owner of the business. You took all the risk in putting your your stuff. So if it's successful, you get to have the reward. If it goes south, you take it in the ass. Like it's your law. Like these people just work for you. So, and I was like, and I have no interest in like, I don't want to side with him or be against him, but it was a really fascinating point. And I mean, same was probably true for Master P. Like, I mean, this is mine. Like, you can go
do your own thing if that's what you want to do. But if you sign
make a record on that guy's label.
But if you sign this contract, we're gonna have to live this contract out. Now, I don't know what position you was in when you signed this contract. Right. But if you enjoyed these figures at this point and you saw what the obligation was, you can't get halfway through there and be like, you know what? I'm way more successful than what I thought. Yeah. You need to pay me more. Well, wait.
Which I think that
happens a lot.
I think there's a very widespread feeling like it doesn't ultimately matter that I signed that thing. Like we can go get in front of a judge and he'll say, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter that you signed that thing.
But it depends on what position you in.
But I mean, the point is that I think it always matters that you signed the thing.
Yeah. No, it does. It matters 100%.
Even if you were young and nobody told you should have a lawyer look over that. Or maybe you couldn't afford, whatever the case is.
Look at Scottie Pippen.
There was a reason that was motivating you to pick up that pen and take the money, whatever. So it's like Lil Wayne being like, I need to get out of my thing so I can go make this thing.
I was making all this money. Universal's giving you $400 million, $500 million for our work, for our 3 albums. They're fronting us money because they know we're a machine. And then you get it to us, we only get 50 of it. Like, what happened to that other 350?
Yeah.
That's a lot. This isn't small pieces. Like, this is large chunks.
Yeah.
So then they're making money, and Wayne's telling Drake and Nicki, I'm going to pay y'all. I'm paying y'all. I'm going to keep taking these L's because I got to go to court. But I'm going to make sure y'all he got a deal where they still getting paid from Universal. And it's just accumulating. They end up settling, but it's still like he's still not getting what he's worth.
Right.
Like, Wayne should have been the first rap billionaire for all the stuff that he put out. And he kept hip-hop alive, all the remixes, everything. Like, he was going to be on the first streaming device. People don't understand. They were like, no, the first streaming deal with the album, we had it, but we couldn't do it because the label wouldn't let us.
Oh, shit.
And then, so you go
I didn't know that.
And I didn't know it either. And there was like, nah, we had so many things that was in the works, but it's the label. You know what I'm saying? They tell you what you can do. And like he said, the Carter 3, you go listen, he's like, I don't even know what songs was chosen for it. They didn't give me a chance to choose. The label chose because I think they were trying to see who they were paying their producers. Because if you look back, Baby has a huge, you know what I'm saying? He don't pay nobody. Like, he don't like paying the producers their money. He don't like paying the engineer. Like, he don't like paying. Like, even the artists, they be like, I did this compilation, I didn't get a check for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get this for it. Like, he just don't like paying. So. And that's why everyone ends up leaving his label. And Wayne stayed with him the longest. It's so wild. He stayed with him the longest, made the most.
You said Baby?
Baby, yeah. Stunner Man, yeah.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
I've
heard.
You've heard it. If you hear Wayne rap.
I've heard Chappelle talk about Da Baby.
And that's a different rapper.
Different person.
That he killed the guy in the Walmart.
That's
a whole different thing.
Okay. Wow. Anyway, man, 3 tracks in to this record, and I'm so over it.
So I love it.
But I thought it was just like part of the song that has that in the name.
No.
And I was like, bro,
that's a moniker.
Every track, come on. I guess the original cover had a crack addict smoking a glass pipe on it, and somebody's like,
yeah, you can't do
that. Throw 'em Up was good. Trying to do something, had nice flow. I like this. There's some synth shit in Plan B. Weed and Money almost has a Tupac kind of feel to it. There's a Rumors sample on Stop Hatin', a little Fleetwood Mac action. Make 'em say, Rappin' Forte. Which I was stunned to learn that was who was on the Too Short, Life Is Too Short, cuss words on it. Don't fight the feeling. It's the same dude. Do you know that track?
I'll have to look it up, but I know a lot of Too Short.
It's got it starts off say ho. Oh, you want me to talk about and then saw you walking down the street and ahead, stop, turn up, and so then there's a female that starts rapping and then Rappin' Forte's in there, and they're talking trash on it. I mean, she's schooling him, making fun of his teeth and his breath, and he's trying to trash her. But I always thought, I mishear so many lyrics across 47 years or however long, but I always thought it was Rapper Forte. So at some point a few years ago, I was like, oh, there's a dude named Rappin' Forte. I saw a clip by him, and then I see that, and I'm like, that's interesting. And then I hear the song, and I'm like, that's the same dude. I've just been saying it wrong the whole time.
Yes.
Going through some things. Fat, bassy, synth track again. Only Time Will Tell gave me also some Tupac. And Come and Get Some was hard and sinister. But good stuff. Are we up against a thing?
No, let's keep going. We got it.
Okay. So Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is 98. I mean, I asked you a minute ago. I can't even remember if we were rolling already. But like, is there a portion of that record?
No, I just let it go. I just let it ride.
I mean, it's weird because, you know, I don't know if it's like the bells or the chime kind of thing. But they're each, you know, there's a lot of very specific emotion happening in this song and this song, and then they're all different, and sometimes it's aggressive, sometimes it's funky, sometimes it's slow, but there's this whole weaving of, you know, of course you get the conversation with the teacher and the kids
it's like
talking about love.
It's just to me, it's like if you had a perfect album, I think it might be that album. I mean, Pink Floyd got the Dark Side of the Moon, which I love, which I let play through. I don't skip.
Yeah,
I don't skip that album. I let that album play through. It's
really good record.
It's like, you know what I'm saying, one of the few albums that I like. I know that I'll start from beginning to end and just let it ride, or I could sit there and smoke and just let it go through, and I'm just like everything, time, money, like I'm just going through the whole album. I feel like that in the Lauryn Hill record too. So like, I just play it and just let it go. When I get back in the car, I wanted to pick up where it left off, so I can stay on the same journey that I was on. I think by the time I was, I don't know, 15 or 20 listens into that record, you know, in its entirety, that there was a mysterious portion of it to me, and I think that I ended up understanding that mystery to be that there are 98. I've just finished college, right? Right.
So it's like, okay, now where do I go for the job and the wife and the mortgage and
where I'm signed up.
I have to do I have to figure it out, like, you know, so I think I reached a point with this record where certain emotions I had listening to it felt like small chapters of my life that I never lived. Like they're experiences that I had, but they're like closed and dark, and I don't remember them. Like the actual, but the emotion is still attached.
Yes.
Or, you know, or if you ever have somebody that you're so super close with, and they have something insanely crazy happen to them, like one of their parents gets murdered, or they get cancer, or they are in a terrible car accident, and now shit is real, right?
Yes.
You didn't live it, but you're very close to that person, and so you kind of have the same emotion. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
So I feel
it's like when someone passes away and you're like, I feel sorry for, like, you're really trying to get into that spot, like you're in a really messed up spot. I'm trying to really feel for you and try to plug into that emotion. I may not know directly what you feel like, but I feel like shit because I see that you feel like shit, and I don't want you to feel like shit.
Yeah. I just feel like I listen to that record, and it's like I almost feel like I've been to her house, her parents' house for dinner,
and you just know everything's going on.
And
her firstborn, like you met Zion, like you know who Zion is, like, you know.
I mean, it's really indescribable. Yeah, I don't know what she's been doing since then.
Not trying to be a part of the system, knowing that you get in there, you sell 10 million records, and you're like, oh, this is what this is. You know, this other guy could take all my money, you know.
Wait, did somebody take her money too?
I think, yeah, Wyclef.
Oh, for real?
Because it was like a relationship thing, but then it was like, nah, we're not doing that no more. I'm going to get married and go. Then it was kind of like they started bumping heads. Like if you go to a Lauryn Hill concert, last one we went to.
You've seen her?
Yeah,
multiple times.
We seen her once.
Okay,
because you gotta wait so long for her to come out.
Right.
She just doesn't come out on time. But she gives them a great show.
Oh, right.
But she couldn't use any of the original tracks. She couldn't. So all the songs
to this record,
we got those songs, but it was to like different melodies. Like
no
it wasn't
way.
Because I think there's something with the license. I don't know what it is, but I don't think she owns those masters. I don't think she could do those records like that. Unless something's changed since then. But when we seen her at the Uptown, She did the songs, but they weren't to the beats that like it was similar, but it wasn't the same. So I was like, oh, she must have to change it up for her shows.
Did she look like she was?
No, she looked good. She looked decent.
Like, but did she look like she was happy to be there?
Yeah, it looked like she wanted to perform.
Did the crowd feel good?
Yeah, it was a big crowd. Everybody was hype. Everybody was live.
Fucking A. When was this?
You can look it up. It was a few years ago. It was up Uptown Theater.
Sure.
So if you looked it up, like we were at that show.
How did I miss that?
At the Uptown Theater. So yeah.
I mean, it's really weird. Like, you know, talking about the stranger and the celebrity, or the average guy and the celebrity dichotomy. Like, you know, I'm assuming that she's, generally speaking, happy with what she's doing in life, and she has like enough money to pay her bills and all that shit. But it's got to be so weird to know that, like, even if she does nothing for the rest of her life, she put out a thing that a lot of people from a lot of different places in the world could come together and
be like, this is the thing. If you just toured on this one thing, you'll sell out every city, every country, every time you went for this thing. It's like the Alanis Morissette effect, but this is a way better album. Like, you know what I'm saying? Jagged Little Pill was good.
what apples and oranges, dude.
But I know, but I'm just saying, but you're talking about an artist that dropped one unplugged album with one.
But Alanis Morissette, I don't think, is drawing the same level of diversity.
No, not at all.
And so,
but she is an artist.
Alanis is drawing a lot of like-minded people.
Correct.
Lauren is drawing a lot of people with more differences, but they're all coming there for
different cultures, different everything. Can feel that Lauren effect. Like, I know
that's got to be weird to be the person that made that thing.
Yes, that brought all those people together.
So I mean,
and I was just thinking, I know it's apples and oranges of two artists that dropped two major albums that lived off for so long, and they both had unplugged albums that came out at some point. Because Lauryn Hill's Unplugged was phenomenal. Like, that's my wife's favorite. She doesn't. Yeah. She likes this one, but it was just more, you know what I'm saying, more revolutionary, right. More of that Tupac, more technique type music.
We were gonna do this right after your France trip, which was a handful of weeks ago. But when I you know, if you give me 5, and one of them, like these two records, I don't need to listen to these records or read anything. You know, I'll do a quick brush up. But when this was on your list, I was like,
I already know
I'm gonna listen to the whole thing, even though I don't need to, because it gives me. So when I did, I sent a text to my high school buddy thread, which has got like 10 dudes on it, and I said, so obviously it has to be an album, not a greatest hits, not a whatever. Tell him might be the best album closer of all time. And some people wanted to say there was a lot of different things thrown out, and to me I was just Matumbo. Fucking nope. Yeah, nope, it's this. Like, I think that's the best album closer of all time.
I just top to bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the way it starts. I like the middle. I like the journey she takes you on, the placement of the songs, the conversations, everything that you go on. Nothing even matters, where you lost into that one person that you fell in love with, you know. Even if that love fell apart, you still, at that point, nothing even mattered at all but you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just everything. It's just everything she puts together.
So, to me, I know there's more than 2 parts, but to me there's 2 parts of that song, right? And it's the tell him and the be all right, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the first piece is communication. Tell him, right? And like, there has to be some flavor of love in that, right? Like if you care about somebody and you love you,
that connection,
you communicate with them.
You want to have that communication,
and you're truthful, right?
That honesty,
and then like, be all right is a thing that we say to a lot of different people in a lot of different situations.
They have a lot of different meanings.
And maybe sometimes we say it to ourselves. I mean, like, those, it's 2 words and then it's 2 words, and they get repeated a lot. And I know she's talking about other stuff in that song, but just the delivery on both of those, I think, makes it it ties up what was a crazy album already.
A lot of
perfect gift wrap, ribbon, bow, all of it.
It's like, be honest, and this is to tell him, and then it's like, you know, everything, like I told him the truth. I let it all out there. So what's gonna be is gonna be. It's gonna be all right. However it shakes out, because I was honest. I left it all out there, and this is the effect, the cause and the effect. So like you're right, it is the perfect. It is two parts, because you got that comfort of knowing, like, look, it's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I need to get that record just so I can say
like that you need that record. That should be posted up somewhere.
So finally 2000 Eminem Marshall Mathers LP.
Wow, crazy fucking guy, bro. Crazy guy, bro. Like
my first note is kill you. Holy shit.
Like,
what the fuck?
I'm gonna pull you through this bullet and pull it through you. Yeah. Like, bro, who's thinking of this shit, bro?
Yeah.
Like, he's making fun of like the NSYNCs and like it's just everything. Then he got the deep beats with like the Sticky Fingers and like Exhibit, and you know what I'm saying? It's just, to me, for so long before Wayne, Marshall, like my wife, she was like, I thought Eminem was your favorite rapper. I was like, there was a transcendent point to where Eminem was my favorite because I loved his flow. The shit that he was rapping about, I was visualizing and I was cracking up. Like, I'm like, who? Like, you can hear it. Like, oh my God, it's just everything. And he's dragging the body and you're like, oh, that's Kim. Oh, if you put 97 Bonnie and Clyde with Kim, it's the same. Oh, you put Kim on, then you put 97 Bonnie and Clyde. Have you never done that?
No, I don't know what that is. 97 Bonnie and Clyde.
So that's on the Slim Shady LP. So go listen to Kim.
Okay.
From Marshall Mathers.
Okay.
Go listen to Kim and then immediately go to the 96, 97 Bonnie and Clyde. And
I'm not going to.
It's the extension. So this is he killed Kim on the second album. And it was just him and his daughter on the first album. But this was the prelude of why it was the 97 Bonnie and Clyde, and that's just me and my daughter. Or whatever. So go look to the Slim Shady LP, the Bonnie and Clyde song, and then listen to that directly after Kim.
Okay.
From the Marshall Mathers LP. And they go directly into each other. Him and Dre did that perfectly. Like,
nice.
songs, but they're on two different albums.
Like an Easter egg kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So listen to Kim and then go to Slim Shady.
The Way I Am, fucking so vicious.
Yeah.
But good riff, and it's got like the bells and shit in it.
Love it.
The Real Slim Shady, like maybe it's a contender for catchiest rap song ever
of all time.
I mean,
it's Vanilla Ice. It might be there is some shit. Like, it's something. You know?
I mean, how can you not just?
I'm Slim Shady.
Yeah.
And he's making fun of Tom Green. He's making like
my mom was on you.
Like, people don't understand. I was like, you don't know Tom Green? He used to walk around. He had shit on the microphone, and he would try to make people like talking to.
Dude.
And he would get punched, and it would be fucking hilarious.
Have you ever seen the clip where he's on crutches with two broken legs on a sidewalk in a busy intersection, and he falls, and people are like, holy shit, and they like get him up, and he falls like 14 more times.
He's an idiot, bro. I love Tom Green back in the day.
I don't really know why, but when that show was on the air, I used to laugh so. You remember Glenn?
Oh, yeah.
He was just fucking his head through a square in the wall with a coffee mug. I would laugh so fucking hard at the stupid laughs that he was doing, and I didn't even know why.
I don't know, but it's just funny. Like, Eminem's a different. With Eminem's raps and Dre's beats, I felt like it was the perfect thunder and lightning.
Peanut butter and jelly.
It was like this weird, who is this crazy white boy with these sick ass flows? And he don't rap like no white boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's not I don't mean that in a disrespectful term to anybody, but like,
everybody know,
who is this fucking guy, bro?
Well, it's because, to me, when Snoop hit the scene, I was like, nobody has ever had flow like that and pizzazz
Penny and Michael and Pippen type of.
And I was like, and you know what else? Nobody ever will ever again. And then he shows up and it's like, oh, that's a twist.
This is a different twist.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, because Marshall Mathers and Chronic 2001, and then he did the Eminem show. It's just like, bro, like, Eminem's growth as an artist was massive. It was huge.
Yeah.
And you hear other people of your craft speak of you, you're like, no, like the Andre 3000s, like all these other guys are like, no, you don't battle Eminem. Like, no, don't. Yeah, you battle Logic or battle one of these other guys. They're not Eminem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, guys, like, relax. You don't want that smoke.
Now, I know that we're not supposed to, if we all wake up in the morning with the goal of being decent people, I know we're not supposed to, like, point at negativity or highlight it at all, but I can't help in being joyful whenever somebody trashes the Insane Clown Posse. And do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Dude.
Ken Kniff, yes.
Dude.
Bro.
It's so insane. Like, you can't make my guest for episode 2. He picked, we talked about 2 Outkast records and we talked about this record. You can't make this record today.
No, you can't. No,
I mean,
no.
You haven't been able to make this record today for a few years now.
When he made this record, they were trying to take the record. Like, you can't. But he has the skits like, we can't make the record. I can't use this record,
Jesus,
Jesus
hangs
Christ.
up.
What the fuck you mean, Paul? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Bitch Please 2 might have the best beat of all time.
Well, because it's that real Dre beat.
I wrote credit to Alvin Joyner instead Exhibit. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Exhibit.
But who the fuck is Alvin Joyner? Anyway, it's probably
Did you know Pimp My Ride was fake?
What's Pimp My Ride? The TV show?
Yeah. Where they were putting all the TVs and shit in the cars and shit. It was like a stage show. I didn't know it was
really?
fake. I thought it was real. Yeah.
When did you learn that?
Because Tiffany Haddish is a big comic now. She was on the show.
She was?
And she was like
She's
a
from
friend.
Pimp My Ride?
She was just on it.
Okay.
It was a friend talking about her friend's poor car. But it was like, no, you was an actress. Wait. And then somebody went and they were like, this is fake. I didn't know it was fake. It was like, man, people went into Reddit. They was in this Reddit thing. And like, you can get deep into
There's always a Reddit thing, isn't there?
There's always a Reddit
thing. Pimp My Ride was fake. That was something else I was going to ask you.
I know. Because you said Exhibit and you were talking about Al Joyner. Bitch, Please, too.
Yeah. I don't know. Rest in peace. R.I.P. in peace to Nate Dogg.
The greatest hooksman of all time.
Right. Man, this it's such a wild record.
Bizarre. Crazy.
Like one of those, as a kid, every once in a while, most of the time you're just being a kid, right? And every once in a while you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I don't think those people are supposed to be doing that over there. Or I don't think we should be doing this right now. Like, you put, I don't even know if I should be listening to this record. Like,
I got to put my Discman on real quick.
Right. Oh, man. So that's quite, that you said those 5 came off the top
fast.
Easy. And you could.
And I could probably get 5 more. But
right?
When I think about the albums that I love, that I probably overplayed, or the CDs that I bought, that impacted me, like when we talk about the Lauren record, or we talk about rap records, so if we're not talking to Carter 2, like, I don't even want to have a debate. I put that on the table. I'm like, hey, Wayne has 3 Carters, and people debate what the order is. Well, he actually has 5 Carters.
Right.
But he has 3 Carters that you're throwing on the table.
Yeah.
And that's 1, 2, and 3. And they're like, what's the order? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's 2, 1, 3.
It is?
It's 2, 1, 3 for sure. Even though
of greatness. Yes,
they're all great.
They were released chronologically.
Yeah,
correct.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
But when you rate them, you're going strictly 3. No, you're going 2, 1, 3, 4, 5 at the order of the Carter series. So I don't know. To me, you got to know Wayne's growth from the Carter 1. To get into the Carter 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then you got to know Juvenile was a part of Cash Money, and he had the big 400 Degrees record. Then Wayne dropped the 500 Degrees record because it was some contention in the group. Like, you know what I'm saying? With Cash Money, because Baby's taking everybody's money. It's at the end of the day, it's a common denominator.
I'm saying yes when you say you know what I'm saying, but I actually don't.
No clue. But I'm dropping these, so when you go listen to this
again,
you're going to be like, let me go listen to this other
record.
Let me go dive into this.
I don't know. I mean, these are all now, in my phone right?
Right.
I might skip some. I'll definitely revisit Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood.
All you got to listen to is Dark and As Hell Is Hot.
Right, and I'm definitely at some point gonna want to have a peek at the other Carters.
Right.
And maybe eventually be able to look you in the eye and say you were right. It was 2, 1, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had no idea. Like I just, being kind of checked out. Like
Right.
DMX, Lil Wayne, Ludacris, like all of these people, like not being plugged in at all. I think you kind of say, in a sense, it's okay to not be plugged in because none of those guys are as good as the shit I used to listen to anyway, right? Like as
To
a kid,
a certain point, yeah.
it's not. It's not an accurate thing to feel or to say. So
Because it's all subjective.
right, yeah. But so now it's exciting to have, like, I know some shit about these records, and I enjoyed listening to the first time around. I don't know if I'll revisit Master P, but
No, you don't have to.
Just 'cause.
That's more of a. That's my pick.
yeah.
Like I said, it's not the greatest event. Like, but for me, it was Mr. Ice Cream Man, Ghetto D, and The Last Don, and I just like Ghetto D the most.
I mean, you could make the argument that he's the most interesting human of the 5 artists.
100%.
I mean, and perhaps maybe somebody that you look up to more than the other 4,
just as far as like the acumen and how he presents himself in business. Yes.
Yeah, but this was really fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I was able to get a chunk of your Saturday. I mean,
right.
I know you're busy.
It's super busy. Yeah, it is busy, but it's all good, man. I'm just glad I was able to come through and not get shot at that other house that I went to.
Don't say that. Well, when I get some more names, I'll eventually. There's going to be some folks I'm going to ask to come do it again, and
all right.
I mean, if you got another 5 easy, I'll definitely hit you up at some point.
I
hit your wife up at the.
She told me,
and she was like, "I'm not a music person." I was like, "That's not true."
It's not true. She loves music.
Why would she?
I don't know. I think she may want to do it. I'm gonna explain to her what it is, and she may enjoy it.
I mean, she might have just being like, I don't know. Let me keep a distance on that, so I'm not committed to any. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Dun, dun, dun.